I'd always been curious about robotics. After joining this team, it really opened my eyes to how much I enjoy it, like working with a team, working on 3D modeling. It's nice to be able to find that passion, and it makes me hopeful for the future.
It's a lot of pressure when, I guess 5-6 members' entire year's work, and then they build this robot. Their entire year's work depends on me. I really, every time before going to match, I would feel nervous, feel anxious. What if I break the robot? What if, we lose the match? Once the competition starts, once the clock starts ticking, then, I get in my mode. I don't think about anything else but winning.
I know for a lot of the operators, we work ourselves so tirelessly because we want to put on a good competition. We want to put on a good competition for not just the teams here, but for ourselves. It's a point of pride almost. And so when we can put on a competition of this scale, just as volunteers in our spare time basically, not compensated, but out of love, then I think that goes to show just how dedicated we are to this competition and to its growth. You're going to see a lot of changes in the North American competition in terms of who runs the show. Some of the newer teams that have entered the competition, CU, VT, RHIT, these teams are innovating year after year. They're bringing something new to the field. And it's incredible to see just the ideas and the concepts that they come up with. I like it when teams bring the crazy ideas. I love seeing the new robot designs. It's always fun to see. And in my opinion, that's what makes the competition worth watching.
One of my biggest mistakes about robotics is not doing it sooner, because I had no plans on doing robotics in college at all. I just kind of got into it by chance, and then I realized that I liked it.
I spend 90% of my time on robotics, and yeah, it's just amazing. I really feel this is the best learning experience.
I hope that it stays in my future because same with Jason, I really enjoy it, and I feel like it's rewarding to spend a bunch of time on something and then you put your robot into a match and then it actually works. Especially yesterday's match against CU, that was the most fun I've had in a long time in this club. So it was so fun.
It's gonna be exciting for robotics in the next 10 years.
But I would love to stay involved with RoboMaster. I think it's really cool. Competition makes me really excited. I think the people are really good. I didn't have any friends when I got to college because I graduated from a really small school, and then nobody came to UCSD except for me. And then I joined Triton Robotics, and I was like, oh, these are my friends now. So all my friends pretty much came from Triton Robotics, and I think even the ones that didn't, Triton Robotics helped me kind of form that social ability to kind of talk to people and make friends, and so it allowed me to kind of be more open with other people in turn. So robotics is kind of huge for me.
You have COD championships, you have Fortnite championships, you have League of Legends. All of these games have some level of violence or war theme to them, but it's just a game. Part of RoboMaster that maybe brings in some fear is that it's no longer just a game, it's actually real. Which is to say, it's a physical concept that you can see, that you can touch. These robots exist.
I'd always been curious about robotics. After joining this team, it really opened my eyes to how much I enjoy it, like working with a team, working on 3D modeling. It's nice to be able to find that passion, and it makes me hopeful for the future.
It's a lot of pressure when, I guess 5-6 members the entire year's work, and then they build this robot. Their entire year's work depends on me. I really, every time before going to match, I would feel nervous, feel anxious. What if I break the robot? What if, we lose the match? Once the competition starts, once the clock starts ticking, then, I get in my mode. I don't think about anything else but winning.
I know for a lot of the operators, we work ourselves so tirelessly because we want to put on a good competition. We want to put on a good competition for not just the teams here, but for ourselves. It's a point of pride almost. And so when we can put on a competition of this scale, just as volunteers in our spare time, basically, not compensated, but out of love, then I think that goes to show just how dedicated we are to this competition and to its growth.
From all of these teams, I think there's a few teams that maybe stand out just a little bit above the others, just with regard to their accuracy, their team movements, their communication, their coordination, things like that. But overall, the field has just really condensed itself into a tight pack of really closely competitive teams.
Super true. The 1v1's also awesome. We've been, top 8. You can do your prediction bracket for the 1v1 matches as well. You can catch those over on YouTube. So go check those games out. A lot of the same teams, but not all of the same teams.
There's a few teams that are surprising, I would say, in the top 8 over there in the 1v1. UrsaWorks, who we saw give North Star a fight for their money. They made it to the top 8 in the 1v1s, and as well as, I can't remember who else right now off the top of my head, but there was a few teams there. Team Roboto, who was in that really, really tough Group C over here in the 3v3, they made it to the top 8 in the 1v1s, so congratulations to them on that achievement as well.
Also, Robo Rambler from Georgia Tech, who was really close and looked strong in 3v3, but like we said, the field is getting so deep now. Weren't able to make top 8 in 3v3. They have proceeded in 1v1s. Excited for them. Glad that, they're going to get to continue playing this year. Speaking of North Star, though, UMN, the team you just mentioned from 1v1s, they will be our first 3v3 game of the day versus Pacific Spirit. If you're here in person, come check it out. Let's take a peek at the bracket, Steven.
There's so many good matchups today. You've got Pacific Spirit versus North Star, our first match of the day. But after that, you've got AirU Dub, one of the giants of this competition, facing Queens Knights, who has looked really, really strong so far. And then later on, we've got CU versus Ascension, Thornbots versus Robo Grinder, our reigning champions.
This bracket is starting off with a bang. I mean, I think the only thing you could do, in my opinion, to make all of these matches even more evenly matched would be to switch ARUW and North Star. Yeah. I think Pacific Spirit and North Star is favoring Pacific Spirit. You can't deny it. They haven't lost a match, period. There's no there's no adjectives needed. They haven't lost a match in 1v1. They haven't lost a match in 3v3. They're just undefeated.
Right now, yeah, they're just doing really well. I think all of their robots are functioning at the highest level that we've seen. They're hero accurate and aggressive. I think maybe if Northstar can use a little bit of trickery, perhaps play a little bit strategically around some of the barriers, some of the field elements that we've introduced this year, they maybe could stand a chance. But yeah, it's going to be hard.
I mean, Pacific Spirit, when you talk about trickery in a match, Pacific Spirit using that backdoor hero strat, really, really interesting. I know there's been some conversation about its efficacy, but regardless, I think it throws drivers off. When you get back to your base and you can't heal, what are you supposed to do? I still don't know what the counterplay is if you can't 1v1 their bot, and no one can. They've won 1v1s. I mean, they haven't won it yet, but they've won the Swiss stage. They're in the lead, undefeated.
It's so difficult to deal with because they never let you rest, and I think that is the critical component. We saw it in previous years and previous iterations of the game with RoboGrinder, just pushing the base consistently, not letting teams kind of gather themselves and trying to rush the base down. This is, I think, that application in this current meta for Pacific Spirit. They are just constantly puppy guarding that resupply zone, not letting the robots heal, as you said. It's difficult to deal with. I don't know a solution either.
Other changes that will be for our viewers have been with us all week. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tagging along. I'm glad that y'all got to see the matches. We are moving into the best of 3 format, so there are no more ties. We will have a winner. The loser from each round will move down into the lower bracket indicated by LB and play other teams who are in that lower bracket. They still have a chance for the grand finals.
We've seen a couple of teams do a really good run from the losers bracket in previous years. I'm thinking specifically to Caliber team from NUS in previous years. In 2023, they made a run through the losers bracket all the way to the finals again. So it is possible to survive that and make a good fight. However, you don't want to be there in the first place.
Continuing on our way down of the upper bracket, we have ARUW versus Queens Knights. ARUW likely needs no introduction to most of you. Former champions in this competition for multiple years, a titan in the community, facing off against Queens Knights, who have looked quite strong, participated in taking Texas A&M out of the bracket. It was one of our former top 4 teams. We'll see what they can do against ARUW. I think that game is going to come down to whether ARUW's Sentry is functional or not. We've seen it in their last few matches at 3v3. So if it's still up and going, which I have no reason to believe it wouldn't be, I think they have the upper hand in the round. Yeah,
and if you saw the little hidden stream, not exactly hidden, but it was a little bonus stream last night, the 2v2 Sentry matches that were for fun, UW was one of those Sentries that were competing, and they did really, really well. So exciting stuff to see from them. Queens Knights, I think if they can have all 3 of their robots operational at once, then they stand a chance. However, we haven't seen their Sentry really navigate the field yet, so that does give me some concerns.
Agreed. Third match of the day is going to be CU Robotics versus Ascension. I think this might be the closest game of our first round of brackets because both of these teams, I think, have the same story. Everyone in the venue, it'll flip-flop based on who you're talking to, but I'll hear the exact same comments of CU and Ascension. They'll both say, oh, that team's going to go super far. And I'll say, well, does their Sentry work? And they'll say, not right now, but when it does, they're going to crush everyone. So it'll be interesting to see which, if not both of those teams, have got their Sentries up and working. CU Robotics struggling at the end of yesterday. Ascension doing well, but consistently only fielding 2 bots. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out for those 2 teams.
Yeah, an excellent point to that last match for CU at the end of the group stage, losing around to Texas A&M. I think it really revealed some of the weaknesses that CU had. Obviously, they're a really strong team overall, but without that Sentry, it's going to be hard for them to make a good run. Same thing for Ascension. Without a Sentry, I don't know how far in the bracket they can get.
And then the final match of this morning will be the Thornbots versus RoboGrinder. Again, I think an excellent pairing. Like this match, just the scriptwriters, they deserve a raise. Can we give them a raise?
You can raise my paycheck.
Thornbots versus RoboGrinder, I think will be incredibly close. The Thornbots fielding 3 bots that have good reliability. RoboGrinder with perhaps individual bot supremacy, but lack the reliability of having all 3 bots on the field.
Yeah, and I think for RoboGrinder, they are looking to try to reclaim that title. I have heard rumors that their Sentry is not as dead as we were told, So that is something to watch for later on. We will have to see. But right now, getting into this match between UBC and North Star, this is going to be a banger of a match.
Yeah, we're taking a look at the UBC robots now. That white box on the side is holding their onboard computation used for their auto aim. There's a computer vision program running on their standard and their hero, helping them aim more accurately and have a higher hit percentage. And I think that's going to be the story of the match. UMN consistently has 3 bots. UBC consistently with 3 bots. Both teams very, very functional, very fast bots, good projectile rate of fire. But I've been seeing UMN struggle more with the barrel heat limit because of their slightly lower accuracy percentage.
Yeah, and I think that is a critical component of the game that few teams really recognize, is that you have to be smart about the engagements that you take, right? You can't just keep firing willy-nilly into the enemy, because you've got to land those projectiles, you've got to secure those kills before they can go back and retreat. And to do that while balancing your barrel heat limit, that's a tough thing to do.
Take a look at those UMN bots. I mean, every team in the top 8 has built a formidable fleet of robots this year, hardware-wise, software-wise, and their drivers have had the experience now. Even for our slightly newer teams like UMN, they've got the experience. They've played lots of rounds, and that will continue for these best of 3s. I think, like you said, the accuracy percentage, a big deal. I think the other big deal is going to be knowing when to turn around, like knowing when to disengage. We saw yesterday some of the teams actually disengage early. Like, there would be teams that would run away with like 80% HP, still had projectiles, and that causes almost as big of a problem as running away late. You don't lose victory points for it, but you don't gain them either.
Yeah, and I think critically, when you're at this level of the competition, you cannot be giving away those easy kills to the enemy team, right? But you don't want to give up that point protection either. We've seen it. Sometimes all it takes is to just sit on that center buff zone and slowly chip away at the enemy's victory points. If the team can get out first and get that victory point, that center buff zone and start chipping away, that gives them a great advantage when it comes down to the late game.
Super true. There are a couple different strategies that teams have taken. We've mentioned UBC going to be using that backdoor hero. Keep an eye out for it on the elevated ramp. UMN, what I would consider a more traditional 3v3 team right now. They play around the center. They play from the maze, maybe the bumpy road. Let's see how it all plays out with UBC versus UMN in the first round of knockouts for ARC Season 1.
Let's get started in 3, 2, 1.
Bring on the bots.
Both teams out
Columbia.
quickly.
That hero immediately moving to the other side. He's dealing damage with the blue standard. Blue standard 3 hasn't taken any hero projectiles yet. Trading back now. A hero projectile lands, making the trade in favor of UBC, but UBC has to retreat. UMN has been watching footage. They were there ready for the hero. They did not let it. And the Sentry going 1v2 on the bottom lane for UMN, absolutely pushing back both of those defenders. UBC able to use their super capacitors to make it back to base and return, launching that hero projectiles, and they get the score in the base. Wow, UBC with an early first blood.
UMN feeling the pressure early on from UBC. This is incredible.
UMN, another hero shot from UBC onto their hero. The power of the chassis over, and it's a double kill for UBC's hero. He's not done yet. 2 more projectiles. This is a confident play. He takes a shot. First one misses. The standard now has the upper hand. He won't die even if he takes a shot. Chewing through the health of UBC's hero.
Yeah, that hero with only 1 projectile left, having to go back to its base to retreat and heal up and reload.
The Sentry for UMN soloing the bottom lane continuously. The standard now backing him up, making it a 2v1 versus UBC. UBC Sentry, excellent AI. It retreats, but the hero, high setters, the MVP of UBC, now can just aim. He can't move. He's the sitting duck. Will UMN take advantage of it? They're fighting off the other bots. They're making their moves. Oh my goodness. It lands for a standard percentage. Number 3 from the standard from UMN, chewing through the hero. Trying to get into a position where he can't fire back.
And down goes the hero for UBC. Preston, this is the turn that North Star needed. This is the break that they can get to get the advantage back.
UBC ramming their own hero, trying to get it back off of the ramp. The hero for UMN going down. This is a poor time to have that happen.
Yeah, you can see here the infantry trying to shove, and they do free him.
UBC freeing their own hero. It's a great play. But this has allowed UMN to bring this game much, much closer. The hero for UMN in an invulnerability period needs to get out of that center buff point. I'm worried something mechanically has gone wrong.
That hero not moving for North Star. It is just sitting there in the center point. Critically, though, it is still capturing the point, ticking down those victory points for UBC.
North Star Standard now defending his down and using it honestly as a body blocker until that invulnerability period
Great
runs
strategy.
out.
Great strategy from North Star. But here comes UBC. All three
North Star
robots
doing all
now.
that they can, but they've got to retreat. They won't. They're going to use the barricade, hiding behind the barricade, peeking the corners. UMN trading in a 3v1. This standard driver has performed excellently. Will take one hero shot as they return back to the base. They overpower the chassis. They're taken out.
Great secure there from UBC, not letting that infantry get back to its resupply zone to heal up. Now the infantry for UBC, though, that is the sentry, stuck on the center point, not moving.
The sentry for UMN takes advantage, but the sentry for UBC notably still alive and capturing victory points. Only 10 seconds remaining if they can't get it down.
And the sentry now having to choose between 3 different targets.
3, 2 victory points, 1. Round 1, a nail biter will go the way of UBC.
Much closer than I think anyone was expecting here going into this first round. UBC getting that early pressure onto North Star, pushing them off of that point. But then critically, the hero for UBC, the MVP, high centering itself off the edge of that ramp.
Wow. Steven, excellently played by both teams. Just fabulous. The hero getting stuck for UBC obviously looked like it was going to be a tragedy. But good heads-up plays from both of their drivers. You don't want to flip. A good decision to stop trying to get off by the hero, let the standard come and push him away. You can see the drivers, the engineers from both of those teams here as we take a peek at the stats.
Yeah, 3,300 damage to only 2,500 damage for UBC. UMN actually out-damaged Team Pacific Spirit.
Now, lower damage efficiency.
Yeah.
They did a lot of damage to that red hero on UBC's side, but UBC using their speed to get back to the base, just heal back up and continue harassing. The hero for UBC, absolutely the MVP of this round.
Well deserved. That hero not giving up, not letting that high center deter them. They were still even trying to fire from that high centered point, not letting the enemies get those easy kills.
UMN Sentry might be one of the most impressive we've seen so far. It held against UBC in a 2v1 for almost the entire round in the bottom side of the map.
Yeah, that sentry just so accurate and such a nemesis to deal with for other teams. I don't see how, if you're North Star, can do much better than what you did in this round. And this was with UBC losing their hero for part of that.
I think UMN can run this back and roll a few more dice, right? So UBC uses their hero really aggressively on the other side of the field. While that's an awesome play, the hero projectiles are very expensive, which means you can't fire very many, especially early in the game. So if that second hero projectile, for example, hadn't landed on that standard, hadn't taken it out in their own base, I think UMN may have been able to turn the tide even more, capitalize on the good defense they had against the first push. I think the mistake UMN made was after the first defense, the hero for UBC retreated, fully healed. The standard for UMN kind of waited in that spot, ready to fight again. And while he still had 80% HP, you're so close to your base that does seem like a time to top it off.
Yeah, and I think for you, North Star, if you are going to do anything, you have to take some more risks here. You have to be even more aggressive. We have seen it. Playing passively against UBC is not going to get you a victory.
Really, really well played by both sides of the field. UMN North Star continue to impress, continue to perform. I think they've got a solid round chance. I think they could get round 2, take us to the Silver Scrapes, take us to round 3 in this best of 3. And if they don't, I think they're going to be a menace in the lower bracket.
I would not want to face Team North Star in that loser's bracket. That is going to be a very tough matchup, but it's not over yet. North Star still has a chance to take round 2. And remember, these are best of 3 now. So they have 2 chances potentially to really showcase that they have what it takes to be the number 1.
Absolutely. Chad, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here this morning. If you are in the venue, don't forget we have merch. Get the first edition ARC shirts. That way you have one from the first ever ARC season. ARC Season 1 t-shirts. They have all the teams that competed on the back of the shirt. You can get them for like $25 in the venue. If you have a teammate or a friend or a family member here and you would like one of those shirts, just shoot them a text, have them buy it for you. We do not sell them or ship them online right now, but you can pick them up in person at the front of the venue.
Yeah, and special thanks again to our sponsors, Manifold Technologies and Mugen, for sponsoring this competition and some of the teams. We could not have done it without your support, so thank you very much. wow, that was such an exciting round 1. I can't wait for round 2.
No Possible Man's Land already calling it after round 1 of the knockout, saying Pacific Spirit to take the whole comp. Chat, I'm not going to reveal my bracket picks yet. I don't know who all can see the bracket picks. But later in the stream, we'll get into who I think is going to take the whole comp. But I don't think that's a bad take. Round 1 looking very strong for Pacific Spirit.
Maybe we can do a little bracket comparison, you and
Steven, sorry.
Yes.
Easter egg. The referee is holding referee modules. That's interesting. I know that that's a referee and those are referee modules, but that's not typically done. This means that there's some kind of issue or question about maybe a VTM. It's a very small box, so I'm suspicious of a video transmission module or like a power management module. One of the small rectangularly shaped things.
Yeah, and we saw that in the middle of the match, the UMN, that North Star hero, kind of going offline and really not being much of an impact after that. I'm wondering if you pointed out there was a mechanical failure, maybe a referee system fault.
Great job to our on-the-field camera operator, Jordan, who was commentating yesterday, for catching that. What an important piece of information. Going into round 2, I think that lends even more to what you're saying, that UMN might take round 2. If they're able to get that fixed and go full 3v3 for the whole distance, I think this is going to be at least a double-digit victory point game. I would not be shocked if the winning team wins by less than 50 victory points.
Yeah, we saw it there for the first half of that match. It was neck and neck. Both teams around 100, just over 100 victory points remaining. This is going to be a nail-biter of a second round if UMN can figure out what the issue is with that hero.
Chat, I'm going to run a Twitch ad real quick. That way it doesn't hit you in the middle of a match. If you want to avoid those Twitch ads, you can use a Tier 1 subscription or, of course, your Twitch Prime for free. Otherwise, you'll be back in 1 minute. You're not going to miss any of the game, especially if we have a referee technical timeout. All right, Steven. 3v3s have kicked off. Pacific Spirit versus North Star. You'll notice the crowd. We were looking at them with the roaming cam a minute ago. I saw Queens Knights there. I saw UW there. All of these top 8 teams are now, they have the time and a little bit more of the bandwidth, hopefully, to be watching these other matches. Did you see anything as the teams take the field to reset that you would call out to your drivers or your team captains from that round?
Yeah, against UBC specifically, I think the long-range accuracy is a bit of a weakness, not quite a weakness, but I would say a potential point of pressure that you can apply to them. That long-range accuracy for that hero especially, I think, is a little bit less than what we've seen from other teams that have been able to take those long-range cross-map shots to deal out that early damage. And then for North Star, I have to say, probably their team rotations and just strategy. UBC was really good about moving one robot back while sending another robot forward. UMN was a little bit less aligned, I think, a little bit less coordinated. So those are the two things that I would identify for both teams if I'm watching from the stands. And now, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, that's a great point. I think UMN, obviously, it was apparent from their performance that they have watched the other matches. That standard being ready for the UBC hero was an excellent heads-up play. I think it speaks volume about how seriously they're taking the micro and like the strategy side of this competition. They understand that they can't just muscle their way to winning by out-roboting the other teams. They are ready for the teams, and it makes me nervous for these other guys, right? Like if you're UW or if you're Ascension or if you're Thornbots or RoboGrinder, you're watching in the crowd, this lets you know that UMN's watched your matches. They know what you're about, and they have thought about at least what they're going to do to try to counter what you're up to. As you can see those team members now working on their bot, trying to get it ready for round 2.
And it looks like in the background there, that hero is back up and running. So that is good to see from UMN, Team North Star. They are working on these robots, trying to get them ready for round 2. I think it was really close. If that hero can just be a little bit more active for the duration of the match, they stand a good chance to really put the pressure onto UBC. UBC, I think, really needs to come out swinging once again. You cannot hold anything back here now that we are into the knockout stage. This is a best-of-3 matchup. So UBC taking that first round, UMN has a chance to take the second round and take us to round 3.
Absolutely. Only a couple minutes remaining in the setup period.
And now they are turning that hero over.
Hero.
You never want to see a team really looking underneath the robot. That always can indicate that something came unplugged, something came loose, or you don't want anything to be damaged either.
Yeah. So the field is swept and cleaned by our awesome volunteers before each match. But something that's going to be important to recognize is that in these best of 3, it's left as it is. And I think there's a GoPro on the field. Not sure if Jordan caught that one. But I do believe that that is on the ground. We have a small technical timeout now.
Trying to determine, it looks like UBC is still on the field working on their robots right now. So that could either be a team technical timeout from Team Pacific Spirit, or it could be a referee timeout. We will have to see here. Now Northstar getting back on the field as well, looking under that hero once again. Yeah, you can see here, UBC with that laptop open, looks like they are trying to adjust the code on their Sentry. I will say the Sentry for UBC wasn't quite as strong of a force that I had seen them in previous matches.
I agree. I think UMN Sentry was the stronger Sentry in that matchup. It went 1v1 a couple times and was able to force that UBC Sentry to retreat. We did see great autonomous driving, decision-making, and path planning from UBC as their robot was able to successfully make it back to the base without dying. But UMN, their Sentry, winning out in the 1v1 fight.
Yeah, and I think that is a very critical component. You mentioned it. Going back to the base, it's really easy to program a Sentry to just run to the center of the map and just sit there. But if it happens to go down, it's just going to become a place that other teams can just farm those victory points, just repeatedly taking it down over and over again. So you really need a Sentry to be able to navigate intelligently around the field, back to its base, and through different pathways, because we have seen sometimes, I think it was UW, their Sentry blocking them in that maze area. So you got to be able to navigate dynamically around the field. That's a really tough engineering challenge for a lot of these teams. So credit to them, credit to the engineers who have designed these robots, put so much work into them over the course of the year, and now getting to showcase that in ARC Season 1. Really, really exciting stuff.
Round 2 just around the corner. UMN, they had, we identified the ref modules. We were worried that maybe something was wrong, but it does seem like it's UBC who's a little bit on the back foot, even though they took the win in round 1. In a best of 3, if you have a robot that loses functionality in round 1, you're likely to get reverse swept.
Yeah, and I think UBC definitely was not. And now look at this, Preston. They are removing their Sentry from the field.
iCaster cursed the heck out of them. Oh no. All right, going into round 2, it's a 3v2 for UMN. I'm interested to see if this changes UBC strat. Do you still hero rush if you only have 2 bots?
This definitely changes things. I think Northstar needs to capitalize here on the lack of 3 robots on the side of UBC. We will find out in 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots. Well, UBC definitely not deterred. Both robots running out early.
The Sentry for the University of Minnesota doing a good job defending against the hero. Launching now, switching targets to the standard. Not taking very much damage. The accuracy from UBC leaving a little bit to be desired.
The hero for Northstar and the infantry not moving, though.
I believe the infantry made it to the maze, but is looking off into the distance, daydreaming. The Sentry for UMN currently holding the point, currently defending 1v2.
You can see that infantry there, that blue 3, just looking straight up into the air.
Oh,
the Sentry left all alone in the center.
UBC left the door open, but UMN unable to walk through, it appears, in the first 60 seconds of the match.
Preston.
1v1 standard versus Sentry. UMN, their Sentry, able to defend in a 2v1 overspeed projectile. The hero takes it out with a single blow.
And now we will need to see if that Sentry can come back online, retreat back to its base, heal up. It is spinning, but it is staying out there. It is trying to get back to its base. It looks like the hero for UBC not letting them rest, though. Continuing to pressure them, push them all the way back. The Sentry, it needs to get back quickly before that invincibility expires. And now looks like UBC in firm control of the center point. UMN without their 2 driver-driven robots, relying only on the autonomous Sentry to get them through the second round.
They left the field so early during the setup period. I'm not sure what kind of miscommunication occurred, but the Sentry doing a good job returning back to the base, able to fire projectiles once again, but immediately taking another shot from the hero. UBC's hero is not the bot you want to go up in a 1v1 against and is taken out.
the hero for UBC, doing just incredible work here, taking that sentry down again a second time. The infantry just continuing to hold that center buff zone, continuing to slowly take away those victory points for Team Northstar. The sentry now for Northstar still not able to really launch any more projectiles right now, it looks like. It is locked onto that infantry in the center, but nothing is coming out of that barrel. UBC
They're both
just
staring each other down, mean mugging. The sentry needs to return back to the base before it will be allowed to fire projectiles, and it will do so. It paused for a moment, but really good retreat code from the side of UMN. Their sentry doing all that it can in this 1v2.
I am so distraught, Preston, for Team Northstar here. The door was open. UBC taking out their
The
sentry.
hero for UBC immediately with the one shot. Can he land the second projectile to take this sentry out and cement the victory? Absolutely. Our former round MVP from UBC takes the lead.
Yeah, UMN down to below 40 victory, about 40 victory points now. There's really nothing that they can do here. The sentry unable to really pressure both robots off of that center point.
Steven, we did get the answer to our question. That hero did not even go up the ramp, I believe, at the beginning of this game. Very uncharacteristic. We saw a change of strategy. Glad that they're taking into consideration that change as the sentry stops spinning for UMN. There we go. Able to localize itself probably again. It's thinking hard.
I wonder if it's having a little bit of an overpowered issue right there on that bumpy road. We've seen a couple of teams struggle with that.
Perhaps, but it is very low. Just lost its invulnerability. 11 seconds left to go regardless of what happens.
Yeah, and this one's going to go the way of UBC, Team Pacific Spirit, getting the nice 2-0 over Northstar. A lot closer than I think people were expecting. A lot closer than what I was expecting, Preston.
Absolutely. UBC takes round 2 and will take the best of 3. You can see the crowd there. Many of the teams in the top 8, several of the teams watching from the crowd who are in the 1v1s. There's a lot of reasons to be watching this match if you're strategizing.
Yeah, and for Team UBC, I want to figure out what happened to that sentry. It looked like it was working pretty well in that first round. Then they're just taking it out for the second round, so that does give me a little bit of concern. And then for Team Northstar, you've got to go back to your pits, got to diagnose what went wrong with these robots. Hopefully, it's not a referee issue that will take, a long time to fix, because they've got some other matches coming up in the losers bracket still.
So unfortunate that UMN had both of their standard, their hero piloted robots go offline at the same time. I think in a 2v2 it would have been very competitive. You can see 720 damage done by just the sentry, 122 projectiles, extremely efficient sentry, backed up by either a standard or a hero, or ideally both. UMN would have had a great chance in round 2, but in the 1v2, those UBC bots are just too strong.
Yeah, and for the MVP, once again, the hero on behalf of Team Pacific Spirit. Well-deserved, getting those sentry kills, not letting that sentry get to that center point. Well-deserved.
Yeah, could not agree more. All right, chat. Up next, the bangers are just going to keep continuing. AR UW versus Queens Knights Robotics is our next match. They're ready. They are queued up, hyped up. I hope y'all are as well. I'll start a prediction in the chat so you can bet your channel points, if you have any left after that A&M CU game, of who you think will win between the Huskies from UW and the Queens Knights.
Yeah, this one's going to be a really close match, I feel like. Air UW has had a few issues early on in the tournament, but we've seen they just continue to ramp up their progress as it goes on. And for the Queens Knights, I feel like they've also improved as the tournament has gone on. We saw early on in the tournament, their sentry wasn't very active. It wasn't very involved in any of the skirmishes that they would have. And then in their last round, their sentry was actually moving forward. It had to get a little bit of a push at sometimes from its teammates to get a little bit of help there to navigate around the field. But still, it was able to lock on, track a few robots, and launch some projectiles. So hopefully with a night's rest, and or maybe not any rest, but a night's work at least, Queens Knights will be able to do a little bit of what Team Northstar just did and give UW a run for the money, because as it stands, I think most teams would expect UW, one of our returning champions from years previous, to kind of just roll over here.
It's going to be really close. I'm looking on Lightning. Reminder that you can check out the bracket on Lightning. We have some magic views on Lightning. Okay, there we go. Maybe it just needed to update, but I saw 2 bots from either side on the Lightning page. Pretty soon we'll be in the field and get a real-time view. But now I'm seeing 3 bots for UW, which is what I'm expecting. but still 2 bots for Queen's Knights.
Yeah, for Queen's Knights, if they can't field that third robot, that would really put them at the disadvantage here. We saw it yesterday in UW's matches. Their Sentry coming online, being able to go to the center. I haven't seen it really retreat much yet. That is something that I would like to see a little bit more consistency out of them from. We saw it in our previous match just now between Northstar and Pacific Spirit, the Sentry having to retreat to heal up. So if UW can figure out that aspect of their code, I think they stand a good chance to go really far in this bracket.
I agree. Chat, you've got a few minutes to fill out your channel prediction. Who do you think is going to take the match, UW or Queen's Knights? Steven, it sounds like you're giving the favor to University of Washington.
I got to give the favor to the University of Washington here. They've been in this situation before. They've been familiar with these types of pressure situations in the bracket, in this double elimination stage, and they've won it before. They've been here. They've done their work. They've done their homework. It's really exciting to see such a consistent team. I think UW, one of our most consistent teams, honestly, here at ARC.
Yeah, absolutely. Within it, well, they're very consistent in how they perform year over year, which is really impressive, specifically because it's a college, it's a collegiate robotics team. You have that built-in turnover of graduation. But each year, I think they follow a similar pattern, a similar trajectory. They show up with 2 very functional bots, get that third one operating and smooth throughout the competition, and they look better and better as the competition goes on.
Yeah, it's a very reliable trajectory, if you will. For Queen's Knights, this is their first time back in 2 years. Last year, they were not with us, unfortunately, but they've come back, and they've showcased that year off has really helped them advance their robots.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Looking forward to it. So this next match, which is starting imminently, AR UW versus Queen's Knights. After that, we will go to CU Robotics versus Ascension, followed by the Thornbots versus Robo Grinder. Steven, how's your bracket doing so far? Through one match, you still doing okay?
Through one match, I'm still doing all right. I did predict Pacific Spirit
there we
to go take that one, but I was getting a little excited there for a second because Northstar was really pushing them a lot harder than I expected. And I do have Northstar, I think, pulling a few surprises in the lower bracket, so we shall see.
Absolutely. I'm a little bit nervous. I have Pacific going very far in my bracket. No spoiler alerts yet, but I have UBC going very, very far, having their hero issues in round 1 and then their sentry issues in round 2. Makes me a bit nervous, but they've got a few hours. After our Robo Grinder Thornbots game at 10:30, we will take like a 2-hour break. We'll eat lunch. The teams will hopefully eat a little bit at least, but they'll have that time to work on their bots, make sure that Sentry is doing what it should be doing, get some time in the practice field over in the pits to make sure that everything works as good as it can for these knockout stages.
Yeah, and if you want to follow along with our schedule, you can do that live at lightning.arc-robotics.org. You can see the schedule, the standings, the bracket as it is updated, and if you have filled out your fantasy as well, you can check out the leaderboards for that.
Man, I did not fill out a groups fantasy, and I'm so bummed.
No.
So my total score is going to look low. Chat, I promise I didn't mess up knockouts that bad. I just didn't make any picks for groups. Don't be like me. Make sure you got your fantasy picks in. Show everyone that you know ball and that you could see the future, that you were in the room with the script writers. Or show us, how strong the community believed in the underdogs or in the crowd favorites.
I was poking around in, I think it was the Georgia Tech Discord server the other day, and I saw that they were really excited for their team's performance so far, especially the 1v1. And I just give them a little push, and I said, all right, I want to see a lot of predictions for Georgia Tech winning it all in the 1v1.
Heck yeah. No, they performed really well in 3v3. I'm glad they're going to continue in 1v1. I think their bots are worthy of battling it out with the other top 8 teams there. So...
All right, next
very
matchup.
Excited. Let's take a peek at those bots. Let's take a look at the robots that are coming up.
Let's see here, this is Team Air UW waiting and ready. Looks like, nope, there was 3 robots. My eyes to see me. No, there are 4 robots there. Looks like
they've got a backup standard.
A backup standard.
Mm-hmm. So this is one of the things that'll help some of these more mature teams through the knockout stages. Between groups and knockouts, there are just a lot of rounds of ARC competition. A lot of golf balls getting smacked into your robots, a lot of driving into big wooden walls, jumping off of ledges. It's really smart if you have the finances, the team members to build it, maintain it, the team maturity and members to drive it up there or to ship it. It's a lot of effort, but man, it's nice to have a 4th bot on deck.
Yeah, but critically, as we pointed out earlier from inspection, only 2 robots on the side of Queens, and that is going to put them at a massive disadvantage.
Probably. As long as that sentry for UW is working, I agree wholeheartedly. For the majority of the UW matches so far, I think that sentry has been what I would call under 100% functionality. And if that's one of these matches, if they get one of these UBC opportunities that UMN had, they could capitalize.
Yeah, we have seen anything can happen, anything at all. A robot can high center itself, a module can go offline, or a team can just take it out for safety reasons. Nothing is for certain here at ARC Season 1, but for Queens Knights, I think you just go out there and you give it your all.
The hero team's designs for every single team this year has really spiced up the innovation. Standards are, no pun intended, but becoming fairly standard in what they look like. We've mostly got circularly shaped bottom-fed standards, maybe top-fed standards, but some kind of pinwheel that feeds and pushes the balls through a ball path. The hero on every side of the field this year, as you see the logo for AR UW there, as we're taking a peek at their hero, every one of these heroes has a very unique style. So those circular holes you can see in that top aluminum plate, that's where they load the projectiles.
Wow,
They pop the 42s in through those holes.
That is such a cool design. I would also like to draw attention to the back of that turret right there. You'll see that is a constant force spring to counteract the weight of that turret.
There's a few teams this year that are clued in on that strategy. The hero typically has a lot of weight to gimbal. The speed monitor module is very heavy. You can see UW using 4 flywheels, which means 4 motors. There's a lot of weight on there. And so a lot of teams either try and shift that pivot point forward, would put a counterweight on the back, or if you're going to let it all hang out in front of your motor, you need some kind of assistance so that you don't overheat that thing or have PID issues. So a constant force spring in the back, a great option.
Yeah, really nice engineering choices from the University of Washington. Love to see their robots. Always very aesthetically pleasing too. I really like their wire management here. You can see it's very nice, very tight, opposed to some other teams which leave their wires hanging out open.
Yeah, a really well done hero there. I talked a little bit about how it loads. They do have covers, which is good. Heroes notorious for jamming if you get a 17mm into their hopper. And with this open style, like top-fed bottom hopper, that is a little bit scary, but they have little 3D printed covers that snap onto those holes during the match.
Yeah, just really cool engineering work from the University of Washington. I think it's to be expected, right? We've talked about it, just a really historic team in our community. They've contributed a lot in terms of open source design work for a lot of the teams, specifically in terms of like the software usage. Their open source software architecture has allowed a lot of teams, new teams especially, to get up and running much quicker than we would have seen in the past.
Absolutely, absolutely. Taking a peek at these standards for UW, very compact, very small. It's going to help them stay fast, keep their center of gravity nice and low. Again, this swan neck, right? The pivot being at the back, and then a very thin ball path that, like you mentioned, also has all of those well-maintained cables.
And I like what we're seeing from the team being very diligent in loading those 17mm projectiles up. We have seen before in the past years, teams get unfortunate I guess, ejections or malfunctions due to debris in their ammo that they load into their robots. It's very critical that you either have a filter system designed into the robot, or when you are loading it initially, that you don't allow any nuts, no bolts or screws, zip ties, duct tape that can come off the field to get in there as well, because that can really mess up these robots, which are very expensive to maintain and fix. One of the things that I really love also about Team UW is that their gimbals for their infantries are really small and compact and light. Very narrow designs, very sleek designs, not a whole lot of excess weight. We've seen some teams take a little bit of stylistic freedom, I would say, in their designs, and that's great. It makes them look really cool. But from a functionality standpoint, it doesn't really contribute a whole lot.
I agree. These teams loading up on the Rift. We're taking a nice look at UW's robots. We got Queen Knights on the other side at a 2v3. We've discussed, the potential of maybe the Sentry doesn't work and then it's a 2v2. And that would be awesome for Queen's Knights and lead to a very, center point centered game. in lieu of that, if UW is there full force, as we hope they are, we hope every team is able to compete with the bots that they've been working on all year. What's your strategy as Queens Knights? What are you trying to do in this 2v3?
If I'm Queens Knights, I got to rely on my hero. We saw it yesterday in the Group B matchups. The hero taking Queens Knights the victory over Texas A&M, securing their spot out of the group stage. I think if you're Queens Knights, you go hero first, use the sentry and the infantry to support. However, unfortunately, without that sentry, it's just going to be the infantry, so they're going to have to do a lot of work supporting their robot and getting it ready to go against this triple threat from the University of Washington.
You see those green 17mm projectiles, 2 bags. ARUW has very famously been great about straining their projectiles. So I assume that these pre-bagged grapes are so that they aren't pulling out of those red barrels during the setup period. There have been a few teams every year that have the issue of getting a zip tie, a bolt, a nut, some kind of screw in their hopper that jams and ruins the run. They're trying to prevent that.
We are just waiting for the go-ahead for these teams to load into the match. This will be a best-of-3 matchup between the University of Washington and the Queens Knights from Canada. Really like to see the Canadian presence here at ARC Robotics Season 1. We've had a great experience with them so far. They've done a really good job, and obviously they've performed exceedingly well in addition to their great sportsmanship.
Yeah, I love the crowd they bring as well. ARUW, one of the biggest teams in person. I'm not sure raw numbers-wise. There are some of these teams I'm personally very well aware of Texas A&M because I am an alumni from Texas A&M. So I'm aware of their team size, and it's quite large. But in person, no one ever beats out the Huskies. They're here, they're cheering, they've got posters. I love the team spirit that they bring to the venue every single time.
The Husky Army always coming out to show their support, both in person and online. We love to see that from our audience, from the spectators, the family and friends also very deep at ARUW, I think. We've seen it here with our own operations crew made up of a lot of UW alumni, so they are always contributing and supporting this competition however they can.
We're getting thumbs up around the field as the bots load up for round 1, ARUW versus Queens Knights. Best of 3, and we're currently in the upper bracket. If you're just joining us, the upper bracket of knockouts, so the loser of this game will go into the lower bracket. You can check out the current bracket, schedule, all sorts of that stuff at Lightning. We've said the link a million times. You can scroll up in chat and check it out. The teams prepping their bots quickly. You'll see them pour those projectiles in from like what would be considered like the shoulders or neck of the robot.
Here on the side of Queens Knights, you can see only the 2 robots, the hero and the infantry. It is possible to 2v3, but it is very difficult. You really need an accurate and mobile infantry to go chase down those kills after the hero chunks them out.
You can see a counterweight on their standard because, again, the pitch motor is all the way at the back. That works. You just need to reduce how much load and how much effort and torque that motor is having to constantly output because your normal should be parallel to the floor. And if you have all that weight hanging out in front, a motor off position obviously is fully down.
Yeah, really cool to see. We just hit 1K likes on Bilibili, so thank you to all of our viewers watching along.
All right, you can see both of the pilots testing their projectile firing. It's looking good from the side of Queens Knights. That's what we want to see. The 2v3 already hard enough, but as we saw in the previous round, if one of your bots goes down, you're not beating UW with one bot. Frankly, no one is.
No one at all. It's going to be very difficult for Queens Knights to take it on 2v3 as it is. I think maybe if there is a malfunction on one of the UW robots, like we saw from UBC in that last matchup, then there is a door that opens, but as it stands, UW stands a good chance of taking this one down 2-0 and moving on through the knockout bracket, the upper bracket of the knockout stage.
Channel Points put the prediction at 85% ARUW. We've got a pretty smart chat. I think that's about the percentage of this 3v2. But notably, I think the Queens Knights have that 15%. They're going to roll the dice, see if they can get a nat 20, see if they can't bring the fight to the Huskies themselves early.
Can never count out any team here at ARC Robotics. Anything can happen, as we've said a million times now. The Sentry, the Infantry, the Hero for ARUW, moving around, looking good. AirUW already clearing the field with over 40 seconds remaining in the setup period. They are very confident.
Here we go. Both teams now fully cleared the field. 35 seconds left to go. This is a scene you'll see more often in knockouts. These bots should be pretty primed and ready. Round one, there's no battle damage yet. Everything should have been worked out in the pits or in their hotel rooms or Airbnbs. We should be able to set up, go through the checklist very quickly and procedurally, and clear the field.
Getting close to starting now in this best of 3 matchup. You can see the crowd already starting to fill in even more in the bleachers. I see a couple banners out there supporting Team AirUW. Love to see that from their alumni, from their staff, from their faculty.
Yeah, if you're in person, you can make a banner. There's materials for free. There's big posters, markers, Sharpies, everything. Go make a banner for the team you're supporting. As cheers erupt from the crowd, encouraging their drivers and encouraging their engineers. In 3, 2, 1, bring on the bots. This is the moment, the pivotal moment. Overpower immediately from the AI Sentry from the University of Washington. A 2v2 would be a great opportunity for Queens Knights.
The infantry for Queens Knights taking that high ground, dealing a lot of damage. Also,
the
a hero shot
hits from Queens across the field. Over projectile speed, notably University of Washington playing from that center point, Queens playing from the upper road, gives Queens a lot of defense, allowing them to stay a little longer, but no victory points from up there.
And now the hero landing a shot on the
infantry.
Queens Knights taking control of the center. Excellent job from Queens. The sentry for University of Washington not getting involved yet. This is what we talked about.
Queens taking it to UW. Now down to 190, 184. Very, very close game early. No kills yet.
Another hero shot lands.
A second shot. It's the Queens hero that gets the first blood and gives Queens the lead.
This is the opportunity that Queens Knights needed. They needed a 2v2 situation where they could showcase that they are on equal footing.
Really good drivers on the side of Queens. You could see firing at the hero, ignoring the invulnerable standard from the University of Washington, knowing that Robot's not a threat. They're chewing through that.
Down, now they're chasing it.
Low. They're chasing, but they overheat on their barrel, allowing UW to slink back. But now with a 40-point lead, Queens can hold that center point. More than just one robot's death separating the two teams. The hero for Queens, can they do it again? Taking some chip damage, down to about a quarter HP. They're waiting for that cooldown to get down. They fire the second one. That's a vital shot. It misses. Overheating. He's driving back. Blurry. The standard tries to retreat, but UW wins the fight.
The hero taking that long-range shot as the hero was retreating. Excellent job from the University of Washington.
Still in the lead is Queens. They've built up an early lead. They're able to lean on it now. The hero for the UW firing another projectile. It goes wide. Standard from Queens playing on the edge of the corner. They're able to heal up very quickly, buy more projectiles. Everyone's waiting on the gold.
Yeah,
gold drops in 5 seconds.
And there it goes now. There's gold. Both teams purchasing their ammunition, getting back onto the field. The hero for Queens Knights coming back into the center, taking a little bit of chip damage, but landing a shot.
Another shot from Queens. If they're able to finish these kills, this round would already be over. Queens has chonked through the health of UW with their hero. UW trying to return the favor. Their hero, 10 projectiles on the hopper. The first 2 go wide, 1 counting as a standard. Queens returning with only 5, but these have been more effective. Landing the shots. Hero down to 6 projectiles and half health for the University of Washington. Overheat from Queens Knights, battling it out in the middle. These 4 bots all circling, trying to maintain RFID control of the center point. Overheat for the hero, now getting absolutely melted. What? It's both kills at the same time. The hero for the Queens and the standard for the University of Washington getting a kill, but it's UW standard who will get the double kill and the ace.
University of Washington winning that 2v2 engagement, now in control of that center point. Both teams still very even, 80 victory points to 60. This is really close. It could still go either way. Queens now going back to resupply, heal up,
it is all going to come down to these hero projectiles. Both teams giving their heroes lots of ammunition. The standard for Queens trying to push. They've got a little bit of time. I think Queens has 30 seconds if they want to delay this engagement. 20 projectiles on the hero hopper, putting their faith in that driver's hands. Can they land the projectiles?
2 miss right there. Queens going for the kill on that infantry, trying to take it down. Now you can see the infantry's both dueling it out on the top side.
Queens
the hero's dueling it out
very
as well.
Low, down to 30% HP.
The Queens infantry getting dangerously low now. He needs to be very, very careful as they go into this engagement. The both robots from University of Washington putting the pressure on.
28 seconds, they've got to get a kill. Queens needs to kill the hero out of projectiles for UW, but he's got the health. He's a tank. They're just going to hold the center point. 20 seconds is all they need. They don't even need that as they finish off the standard from Queens and take round 1 in a nail biter.
Another really close round here in match number 2 between the University of Washington and Queens Knights. I don't think anyone was really expecting that. We talked about it earlier, though, at the beginning of the setup period. If that sentry wasn't working, it was going to be a 2v2, and that is what Queens Knights needed.
Steven, I'm noticing that all of our top 3 from last year are all having sentry issues this year. UW, CU, VT, their other 2 bots all look great. They're all in the top 8 still because their bots are so good. But UW, again, still struggling to get their sentry to perform, to move, to not overpower. These are, I mean, it didn't have an opportunity to fire at bots because it didn't get to a place in the field where it could. But in a 2v2, this is an extremely close game. Queens with their hero, crazy accuracy, 136% efficiency from the UW hero. All the engineers in the crowd loving that one, but round MVP nonetheless.
The hero for the University of Washington, getting those nice kills in those critical moments, pushing, I think, Queens off that point, keeping them very uncomfortable throughout the round. But for Queens, you got to be happy with that performance. You now know that there is a flaw. There is a chance to put a dent into the University of Washington.
Yeah, and you can see the crowd in the top left-hand corner of your screen right now. I'm sure they're also glad to see that UW struggling with that sentry. Not glad per se, but you know that if you meet them in the bracket, you don't have to count on 100% all 3 bots every match. I think this is now, building on that more than half of the matches so far in the comp, UW struggling to get that sentry out. So let's talk about the 2v2. Let's assume that this turns into another 2v2. UW using their excellent driving, their great bots to still take it down. Queens was really close. Is it just roll the dice again and hope your hero hits a couple more of those absolute miracle shots?
You have to roll the dice again, and I would also say that Queens needs to be more aggressive in pursuing and confirming those kills. We saw the hero doing a lot of chunk damage, taking those robots low, but the Standard not willing to chase, not willing to go too far. They need to be more aggressive.
Yeah, and you've hit on something there that's really important. It is the Standard that needs to finish those kills. In late game, in the last half of the round, yes, the hero can double fire without overheating and chunk all the way through a bot. But in the early half of the game, when that Queens hero was just absolutely hammering the UW bots, the University of Washington has excellent bots with great electronics, with good super caps. They're able to sprint back to their base and make it back to reheal. If the Standard can finish those off, combining their total DPS, their damage stat may not look as fancy, but their kill stat will be much better, giving them the victory points that they need.
Go Air UW in the chat. Love the support for team from the University of Washington. For Queens Knights, though, a great performance in that first round. We will have to see if they can take round 2 in this best of 3 and push us to that critical 3rd round.
Again, all of the humans off the field with about 30 seconds left to play. That's what I'd expect. It probably indicates that there is a very small issue, some weird logic thing that happened, and that UW is assuming that their sentry is totally fine and ready for round 2. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad it didn't come off the field. It did overpower immediately in round 1, so we'll keep an eye out for that as kind of an indicator of future functionality.
Yeah, you can see here the support, the signs for UW, Samed, the driver for that hero. We love to see it.
We had the team from Italy, Torino, right there on the front. They will still be competing in the 1v1s, just not making it into 3v this year. So close. Bring on the bots.
Here we go in round 2 of this critical best of 3 matchup. University of Washington and Queens Knights. The
Cheers
sentry now
from the UW side as the sentry comes and takes the point for the University of Washington. A much more difficult game. Queens playing the same strategy, taking that top high ground, giving them a defensive position they can play from, while the hero takes pot shots from down under.
Yeah, and critically, a hero shot landing on that infantry, on that high ground, forcing it to retreat as it runs back. Now the Queens Knights off the center point. Queens trying to recover, trying to find a way to poke out now. They see all 3 robots from the University of Washington.
Oh, overpowered just before he got behind cover is tragic for Queens Knights, but UW not able to capitalize, getting almost no damage done on a fully stationary bot.
Yeah, that infantry now able to go behind the barrier.
Lands again for Queens, but is taken out. Return tank fire from Hero 1 on the side of the University of Washington.
Yeah, that Red 1 robot doing a lot of work. You can see that accuracy now meeting the Standard as it tries to go through the maze, thinking better of it. Really nice job here from the University of Washington, controlling the point and controlling the pressure.
The sentry from UW is half retreated, which is going to give it a very poor view of the field. Queens essentially in a 2v2 now. but notably an 80 victory point lead already taken by UW, but the Sentry will come out. It got a little bit of a view, and now the Standard and the Sentry combined will take out Blue Standard 3.
Yeah, University of Washington, really nice performance here in round 2. All 3 robots
overpowered by the hero from Queens, now getting chewed through. The hero to help and get another kill.
And the Sentry now, again for the University of Washington, pulling back off into the bumpy road of their own corner. It is just running up against the wall there. It still has view of the center, which is nice because they can support from a distance. However, this is once again a 2v2 matchup in the center. University of Washington holding the lead. Strong performance now. Queens needs to apply the pressure.
Yeah, with a 160 victory point lead, Queens needs a miracle at this point. 27 projectiles in their hero hopper. That'll be the miracle that they lean on. They need to land a lot of golf balls very quickly, but the hero for UW understanding the game very well. Only need 30 more seconds to sit.
2 projectiles for the hero on the University of Washington. They need to be careful here, but the Standard doing a great job using the hero as a shield against
Standard falling very low, falling down to half HP in a 1v2, trying to retake the center point, but it needs to get kills or at least force UW's bots all the way back. 13 seconds left to play. The University of Washington have their strategy too strong. Their Sentry participating in at least half the game. It's too much. UW take round 2, 200-0.
Really impressive performance there in round 2 from the University of Washington. We saw all 3 robots rolling out right from the get-go. I think the Sentry still has a little bit of work to do. And we saw it retreating behind that barrier, that short barrier right there, not really getting involved in the second, and then retreating all the way back to the bumpy zone. But still, really exciting stuff to see. Over 2,000 damage done, 3 kills. Nice stuff from the University of Washington.
Yeah, well done from UW. The Sentry participating in the first half is all they really needed. Once you have the center point, it's really hard to take that away from someone as a 2-bot team. Queens Knights, as we see the MVP, the hero, I agree. Landed so many projectiles for UW, was able to finish a lot of those kills. We've been talking about the difference between almost dead and dead robots, very, very large, notably 20 victory points between the two. So was able to finish off a lot of those. Once UW is on the point with 2 bots that have full HP, you really need 3 bots to be able to push them off. Beating them in a straight 2v2, while doable, likely means you at least lose 1 robot and are probably low health on the second. So holding that point after you push them off or eliminate them, very, very difficult. You need that 3rd bot, like the UMN Sentry, for example, that's going to go in and engage and survive a 1v2 for a little bit of time.
Yeah, and without that 3rd robot, I don't think that Queens stands a good chance of making it very far. We will see. You know, there could be a reliability issues with the other teams. We saw it earlier with North Star and UBC. They're having some reliability issues. So it is still up in the air. Chat, follow along with us at lightning.arc-robotics.org. You can see the matchups as they are made. Right now, our next matchup will be between CU Robotics and Team Ascension, SFU and CU Robotics. You talked about it earlier. This one could go either way.
Yeah. So CU has excellent CV. We've seen it in their 1v1s with near 100% accuracy, which is absurd. Firing at a moving, spinning target with projectiles, crazy. Ascension also performing very well in 1v1. Great looking bots, typically not prone to any issues with their hero or their standard, but both of these teams struggling with that Sentry reliability and performance. I am seeing 3 bots for CU through inspection, which is great to see. I think Griffin Papa summarized the UW game perfectly. He said, woohoo, fix that Sentry for your next match, AR UW. I agree. They did a great job. They knocked it out of the park. And as soon as that Sentry is competing like it did in round 2 throughout the knockouts, they'll be a very, very scary contender.
Yeah, you can see here both Pacific Spirit and Air UW punching their ticket into the next round of the upper bracket. They will face off against each other at 2 p.m. So stay tuned for that one. This is going to be an exciting matchup between these 2 teams.
It will. Chat, if only red teams win in the first round of the bracket, we get to call script fixing. Red side buff? Someone take a look on the blue side. Is there a crazy, I don't know, like a trapdoor or a special RFID card that says no?
We've seen a couple
Code
teams win on the blue
false.
side.
Oh yeah, no, we've seen lots of wins on the blue side. This is a facetious point. I'm just saying our first 2 wins of the day have been red. CU Robotics, our former 2nd place team, now going in on the red side in match number 3. That'll be at 10 a.m., which was 7 minutes ago. So we'll get to it as soon as we can. Our volunteers doing an awesome job sweeping the field. The bots are through inspection. I can see SFU sitting there with their robots.
Yeah, and right now, Preston, I'm looking at SFU also having 3 robots in the inspection queue.
Ooh, I have heard so many rumors. I've heard so much good things about the SFU Sentry. Throughout the week, people have been singing the praises of this robot. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm very, very excited, as I assume SFU is as well. You work so long on that bot, not only on the hardware, but specifically on the software, that you want to see play out in an actual match.
Yeah, for Team SFU, we haven't seen their Sentry yet in this 3v3 competition, so this will be a first for them. If they can field it and it is functional, I think they stand a good chance of making this a very competitive matchup against the runners-up from our last year.
Very, very, very true. Looking at our bracket, you can see the times as well. So after 10:30 a.m., we will be ending the stream for a little break. Make sure you hit follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, turn on notifications, because at around 1 p.m. Eastern, should be pretty much 12:55, we will go live again. You'll get that notification. You'll click on it. You'll be right back in the action with us in the lower bracket. So that'll be North Star versus Queens Knights, which is going to be epic. Like we said, North Star might be a menace of the lower bracket this year.
Yeah, I pointed it out earlier that my my bracket predictions, my fantasy, have North Star doing a little bit of a fun
Ooh, we
fun
got a
run.
little treat for you, chat. We're hopping over to the 1v1 arena for a second. I see a laptop on the field. That is not super common for 1v1s, right, Steven?
Not really. Typically, if you're running the 1v1s, you have that robot ready to go, ready to fight. I think this is, I'm trying to see which robot that is.
I think that's CU. And I've heard rumors that CU was thinking about running an autonomous bot in the 1v1s for a round or two.
It's a different strategy for sure. Typically with the 1v1s, you want a fully driver-controlled robot just because the field is so small and so open. However, a fully autonomous infantry, that would be a first.
It would. Yeah, I've would love to see it. I don't know if we can get confirmation on if that's actually what they're doing or not, but typically the laptop pops out when we're dealing with the Sentry. But yesterday I was in the field when CU said they weren't going to be running that this year, that they were going to be manually piloting. So interested to see how this match plays out. We might be able to tell you after which way it goes. On the left side, is that UBC?
I'm trying to see right now.
Oh, we can pull up the schedule on Lightning.
That is Robo Rambler, Georgia
Ooh,
Tech.
Georgia Tech. That is Georgia Tech in the left corner in blue and CU in the red corner.
And we had seen Georgia Tech almost make it out of their group, unfortunately falling just short to Robo Grinder, our reigning champions. So, really excited to see them here in the knockout stage for the 1v1.
Remember, you can always watch the 1v1 on its own live stream over on YouTube. We're off. Immediate engage in the center of the field. Wow, these bots are going to get up close and personal.
Oh no, the CU robot spinning out up against the wall.
Our camera's spinning out. Ah!
We can't see what's happening, but I am not happy with that CU robot spinning out right there. That is not what you want to see.
Crowd is not reacting. Oh my goodness.
And it looks like
I assume that CU was taken out. It looked like their bot was offline. Our camera was offline. But you know what wasn't offline? The 1v1 stream. Go check it out. It's on YouTube, so you can totally just scroll back. It'll be just fine.
you have to tell us what happened.
Yeah,
chat.
let us know, chat. What happened?
What happened?
Can someone go look on YouTube? Let us know what happened in that 1v1. I assume that Georgia Tech took round 1, which will be really interesting. I would have put the favorite on CU because of their accuracy, their CV, their standard performance. Typically where they struggle in 3v3s is with the Sentry reliability. Not a problem in 1v1s, unless they're running their Sentry code.
That's right. CU are reigning 1v1 champions. So for them, this would be quite the upset.
Very, very interesting. We'll get a little bit of feedback probably from our crew here in a minute. We'll let you know. But of course, like I said, go check out the YouTube and you can find out for yourself if, you know, who was the winner of round 1. Those are best of 3s as well, right?
Yeah, the 1v1 tournament now in a best of 3 format as well. They're going through their double elimination knockout bracket. So a lot of rounds between these teams that are competing in both the 1v1 and the 3v3. You talked about it. That reliability may become a very critical factor as we progress throughout this stage.
Great job from all of our teams. Next, CU Robotics and Ascension. I love the Ascension robots. They've done a great job putting some personality into them. They have plushies that look like they're driving the robots and firing the big cannons. I love that. A lot of our teams not only put like the hard sweat and tears into the engineering and the mechanical like assembly of the bots and the software, but they spend a lot of their year building these bots, thinking about these bots, CADing these bots. And so you want to put some personality into it as well. When you showcase it at events like this one, or to sponsors, or at your school, or to prospective team members or students, you want them to see a little bit about the vibe that your team is about. Has any other design, like aesthetic design, stuck out to you this year, Steven?
I've seen some really interesting heroes this year.
Yeah.
We've talked about some of their, structure, their chassis design, the launching mechanisms. We've seen quite the variety. I've seen several using Archimedes screws. I've seen several using a piston, or I saw at least one using a piston.
Yep.
Some really cool stuff and some ingenious designs from these engineers, Ralph. Really cool stuff to see.
I've loved to see the material variants as well. There were a couple years there where everything was kind of converging to carbon fiber, which is a great material, super light, really tough. But for a lot of the components of these bots, it doesn't have to be carbon fiber, right? We're blocking golf balls, we're blocking 17 millimeter, like they're paintball size. Like we keep saying 17 millimeters, roughly like rubber paintballs, moving at about 20 meters per second, which is pretty fast. You don't want to get hit by one for sure. But we've seen wood, metal, carbon fiber.
I've seen some cardboard. I've seen some
cardboard.
teams moving away from those hard 3D printed shells and now using just netting, just some nylon or like.
So we have seen a
netting.
lot of the hard 3D printed shells. We've seen also a lot of TPU printed shells.
This is true. Also,
I
it
know
provides a little bit more of a soft impact resistance.
Yeah, I know when I was in charge of designing a standard, our initial, so they're not armor panels, but it's the actual covers that go next to the armor panels to protect your electronics.
Yeah, those
So
shells.
those coverings, those shells. We had originally done them out of like a PET G, and then we cracked them in practice with our own golf balls from the Hero projectile launching very, very fast. So we ended up switching to like a TPU, which is a softer, more pliable plastic, which has maybe less tensile strength but a higher toughness, able to absorb a lot more of that impact before we get any cracking or delamination.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the variety of materials that these teams use. A lot of it comes down to design choices, but also sometimes just budget. We talked about it. Sometimes some teams showing up with some wood and some cardboard, which, work with what you got.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Chat. Oh, I need to manage the predictions. I need to give you all your points for those UW supporters. Make sure you're following along in Twitch chat. You can win a bunch of channel points, which is fun. It gives you special emojis so you can express some of your own flair and style, just like these teams do on their robots. You can do it in chat. There are some emojis of people, kind of the legends of the Arc Robotics community, so make sure that you're subbed so you get the sub-only emotes. Make sure you're using channel points, because you can actually use channel points to use those sub-only emotes a few times, which is awesome.
Yeah, really cool stuff to see. If you're there supporting us in Twitch chat, we want to thank you for that. Special shout out to our sponsors for this event, Manifold Technologies and Mugen. Again, they have provided so much for us. We could not have done this without them, so appreciate y'all. And I can't wait to see this next matchup between CU and Ascension. We've talked about it just almost endlessly, how evenly these teams are matched up. I think right now probably we're waiting on just CU Robotics to get done with their 1v1, as we just saw a little bit earlier. So they are probably trying to get through with that and then come over to the 3v3 competition. There will be a few delays that we will experience today just because teams are competing in both of the competitions, the 1v1 and the 3v3. So we apologize for that. You can see that delay live updated on Lightning though. Right now we are in a 20-minute delay, so it's pretty accurate, I would say. So you can kind of manage your time. It looks like this is a new team, however. This is University of Washington in the red side, and on the blue
I think
side,
that's Torino in the blue.
that is Torino, Team Roboto. And we had seen this matchup in the 3v3. So really cool stuff to see here. A rematch going on in the 1v1.
All right, we got a best of 3 between AR, UW, and Torino. We'll at least get to watch one round of it. We'll see how it plays out. Remember, the 1v1s is just a death match. Each of these robots starts with a set amount of health. There's nowhere on the map they can go to heal. They also set, just like our 3v3 now, but there's no reloading projectiles. They don't have to return somewhere to continue firing if they overheat or overpower.
And both of these teams really quick out the gate. Both playing very carefully, not as aggressive as we saw between CU and Georgia Tech.
Yeah, a lot of respect between these two teams. They've faced each other before in the 1v1 Swiss stages. There we go. Trades going the favor of Torino. I think that UW health bar looking like it's at about half. Another good trade. I saw projectiles again hitting. Oh, both bots falling low. Barrel heats. You can see the barrel heat indicated on the side of the barrel with that light bar. The more it fills up, the more barrel heat has stacked.
Yeah, right now, Torino really applying the pressure to UW here in this 1v1 matchup.
Playing on the edge, you'll notice both of these barrels staying the correct color. That means that while they're filling up their barrel heat, they're not overheating.
It's really important in the 1v1 because if you overheat, you are vulnerable
It's
for a large
Torino.
time.
Roboto takes round 1 in a convincing manner. I saw the health bar there at the end, probably still more than 60% full.
Yeah, really, really impressive stuff from the University of Turin. I think we saw this in the 3v3 matchup as well. They split this in the 3v3. Roboto took a round, UW took a round. It was very, very evenly matched.
Between these top-tier teams, a single volley of projectiles can deal over half of the health bar of the standard. So we saw one big trade go the way of Torino early in that round, and it gave them the advantage that they needed to be able to press the attack, to stay with the aggression and finish off the win. We're going to see round 2. This is a best of 3, so no ties anymore. A lot of pressure on these drivers. The bot functionality I expect to be near perfect for these top teams in 1v1.
Yeah, you can see Team Roboto getting out of there right away. Their robot is ready to go for round 2. Really impressive stuff from Team Roboto. One of our Italian teams, actually our only Italian team, one of our teams from Europe, we are seeing a few more get involved as the competition continues to grow. But from the University of Washington, looks like they are trying to double check, make sure that CV is tracking that little fake armor panel. Really cool stuff to see from the University of Washington.
All right, going into this 1v1, it's UW on the field a little longer, trying to make sure they're good to go. Oh, some good-spirited mind kicks of the robot, whipping it back into shape. You got to motivate the robot somehow. All right, round 2, match point on the line for Torino. Roboto in the blue, AR UW in the red.
Both of these teams getting ready. This is going to be an exciting matchup. I think maybe we'll see a different change in strategy. We saw that first round, they were playing very safe, very careful around those barriers. I would like to see a little bit more aggression out of both of these teams.
I'm interested. We got 5 seconds left till the setup period's over. Being really aggressive with these teams is scary. If you go in and you lose that initial trade, there's not really a great way to come back.
Yeah, both of these teams at the top of their performance. I think 2 of the best performing infantries we've seen in the competition thus far.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go, folks. 1v1 between Torino in the... Oh, it reset. There we go. UW in the red, Torino in the blue.
And both teams meeting in the center there, and now meeting on the other side of that barrier.
Ooh, UW balancing their barrel heat a little bit better in that first engage. Not sure how the accuracy went.
You can see the health bars a little bit low for both of these robots. Both of them.
Torino looks like they're taking good trades. UW very low.
Ooh,
Torino also
robot.
Below 50%.
Yeah, looking
Whoever
really
takes
low
this
there.
next volley will likely take the match.
This one could go
Barrel
either
heat's
way.
going down. It's going to come down to this right here.
And it's Torino.
Wow, Torino with the 2-0. The crowd erupts. Look at the team there in the background with the Italian flag. Beautiful. We love to see it. Wow, wow, wow.
Such a passionate team, Team Roboto. Congratulations to them in this 1v1. They will move on into that bracket. If you want to follow along with the 1v1 bracket, you can do that at lightning.arc-robotics.org, and you can watch the 1v1 stream on YouTube.
Absolutely. Congratulations. They've really stepped it up this year. They've been working with steady improvements and progress as a team. And they were so close to making it out in 3v3 this year. It was their match against Ascension that kept them out of the 3v3 top 8. Notable as we're about to watch an Ascension game. But they were able to make it out of groups in 1v1s, and they're continuing on through that bracket. You can check out both of the standings anytime that you guys want. We got some cheers in the chat for Roboto. Excellent. Well played.
Well played indeed. I think my 1v1 bracket is looking pretty good right now. Not going to
Yeah?
reveal anything on stream.
Oh, you
but,
can reveal your 1v1 bracket. What you got?
Oh, I did have Team Roboto taking that one, so I'm a little proud of myself for that.
There we go. There we go. I think I had them going pretty far in the bracket as well. If you haven't filled out your bracket, it's probably too late since Knockouts has started. But you could still do your Twitch predictions. Hop on in and let us know who you think is going to win between CU Robotics and Team Ascension.
Yeah, both of these teams really, really strong. Team CU Robotics are runner-up for last year. Ascension getting 5th place, so still very modest performance for them. Nothing to scoff at all. I think, especially if we can get all 3 robots from Team Ascension, get that Sentry on the field for the first time, they will pose a very dangerous threat to go really far in this double elimination bracket.
Agreed. Excited to see them. And then our final match of the morning will be up next, Thornbots versus Robo Grinder. Thornbots, in my opinion, going to be one of the most interesting teams to watch during the knockout stage. And here's why. They have the most unique, you can see our schedule, they have the most unique strategy. UBC with the Hero Rush a close second, right? Diving in there and launching projectiles, getting kills in base, a really interesting strategy. But it's essentially just a very aggressive version of what all the other teams are doing, right? You kind of rush in, they're going a little bit past the middle, which is awesome. In contrast, Thornbots are staying back. We haven't seen them play in the middle. They've used the cover more heavily than the other teams. Their standard really being the only bot to push the center very much.
Yeah, we've talked about the unique hero designs. I think Thornbot's one of the most, if not the most unique hero design. That very, very tall, I'll call it neck, that giraffe-like looking hero. Able to peek over those short barriers from that near wall and kind of play from a defensive posture. I think if they were a little bit more accurate, it would be a very dangerous strategy. However, we haven't seen them land many hits with that hero.
Yeah, you're totally accurate in your assessment. I do appreciate their full commitment to that strategy. I think if you go half in, you're doomed. But they've really committed, right? We've talked about the lack of fly swatters on their hero. This is the second year that they've kept that tall bot with a higher center of gravity. They've been able to deal with things like the bumpy road. They've figured it out, and I applaud that. I think it makes the game really interesting to have teams who have specialized a little bit in one direction, and it worked great for them in groups. I'm a little bit more nervous for how that strategy will work in the knockout stage. I do think if you fall behind, you are perhaps going to struggle a little bit more to finish kills. You can't chase bots as well. I think playing from behind might be difficult, but defensive-wise, I think it's a great spot.
Yeah, and to give Team Ascension some props, they've done a really good job of just playing with only their 2 robots, and I think their infantry is really nimble. Probably one of the most nimble infantries that we've seen, also one of the smallest. It is able to just really fly through that little bottom tunnel there behind that island. So for Team Ascension, I think you need to make use of your speed. But for the Thornbots, like you were saying, I think one of their engineering advantages is their suspension. And it's not really talked about for most teams, but the suspension is a critical component, especially on that bumpy road. We've seen a lot of teams struggle with overpower on that bumpy road, and their chassis stops spinning because of it. Team Thornbots has figured it out. If you'll watch any of their driver POVs, they are stable, they are steady. There is almost no vibration at all.
All right, chat. The break is over. CU has returned from their match. None of you came back into Twitch chat to tell us who won. So, I don't know. But if you watch the 1v1 on YouTube, you can let us know, and then we'll let you know. But they're back. Regardless of the performance in 1v1, CU on the red side, SFU on the blue.
And looks like all 3 robots from SFU, that Sentry on the field for the first time in this competition. That is really, really exciting to see.
Yeah, all eyes on that SFU Sentry. I wonder... I assume that, there's so many good matches going on, 3v3 and 1v1 now. I know y'all are trying to watch both on YouTube. The people that are here in person are trying to watch both as well in person. And so I know the crowd was on that Roboto versus ARU dub game. I assume they'll now all turn around to watch the CU versus SFU, because this is everyone's first peek at the SFU Sentry, which will clue you in, if you're in the bracket, on where it goes, how good its accuracy is, how timid do you need to play if you see that Sentry when you peek the corner.
Yeah, this Sentry could be the new wild card for SFU and Team Ascension. You can see here CU Robotics working on their robots. They had a little bit of a struggle we saw at the end of the group stage against the Texas AimBots. So really curious to see how they bounce back from that loss.
They've been so close for so many years. An excellent team, a top-tier team for sure, but just never able to finish it up. They've come in second a few times. They've been leading the tournament and had tragedy with their bots a few times. They've had robots break just before the grand finals, but so far unable to finish the entire bracket at full strength. If they can do that this year, I do think they've got a good shot of making a deep run in the knockouts.
Yeah, just some really unfortunate luck for the University of Colorado Boulder. Hopefully this is the year that they finally get over that hurdle. We've seen the robots look very robust this year, so mechanically they should be sound. All that we have to see is that software, is that computer vision up to snuff from what we saw last year.
One of our only teams using custom controllers. There's a lot of reasons you might do it, but one is just number of buttons. You can go crazy with a controller if you like. Get a lot of switches, a lot of 3-way toggles, 2-way toggles, rollers, multiple extra joysticks, all sorts of stuff because it's custom. You can just get whatever controller you want. So props to them for making that work. You can see their hero, very operational, firing into the hat. 21 seconds left to go. The computer's unplugged. The Sentry looks happy. CU looking pretty scary.
Yeah, that Sentry looking really dangerously close to the edge of that start zone. Needs to be careful that it doesn't start outside. Otherwise, it could get a yellow card. That would be very unfortunate for CU.
This is an odd spin pattern. It doesn't look like it's spinning continuously. It does like 3 full pulses of spin and then stops and pauses.
Yeah, that may be to try to throw off the computer vision and the prediction from other teams.
Perhaps. The human drivers might enjoy it. If you're a hero driver, you might just wait for that thing to stop spinning. See if you can't catch one of those armor panels in a moment of stillness. Bring on the bots. CU in the red, SFU in the blue. The standard for SFU flying out of the zone without purchasing projectiles. This is a strategy we see in larger competitions. The Sentry getting a little bit of help, which means they probably believe a lot in the CV and are struggling a little bit with the navigation. But it is facing the wrong direction. Uh-oh, SFU, that Sentry is starting to pan. It locks on. It starts spinning and almost launches projectiles. The hero
is launching some projectiles. It has not landed anything just yet. Only
it's
taking
getting
damage
chewed
so
up
far.
by this standard from CU. CU now halfway through the Sentry health. Standard from SFU trying to defend. Only dealing a little bit of damage, though the hero lands a shot for CU and destroys the Sentry.
And the CU for CU. Oh,
the
nice
hero
double
for
kill for the
CU
hero.
with a double kill and takes the center point.
Oh, really cool to see there in the top left-hand corner there. The CU infantry and the Sentry be able to both fit through that maze at the same time.
That's an excellent, excellent design choice. We've seen some tragic collisions between your own teammates. The CU Sentry able to fit through the maze, but it looks like it's locked onto something outside of the field, perhaps. We are both wearing blue, so I hope we survive the match.
Definitely need to watch out for rogue projectiles, but now the hero pushing
wow,
on that
the
hero,
hero
for SFU.
from CU with another shot. Absolutely the MVP so far. But the Sentry, the standard for SFU making a full circle around the map as the Sentry goes down, chasing the hero. He gets a kill. SFU with the kill. He'll die for it. That's a tough trade. I think it's smart to go for the kill. Unfortunate that the standard goes down for SFU.
Yeah, and now the Sentry, for CU, locking onto the Sentry for SFU, firing across the map. You can see it slowly ticking down. It is inching closer to the center as well.
That CU standard doing an excellent job of managing barrel heat at the higher levels now. Absolutely a menace. SFU's Sentry notably not able to return back to the base, so it will not be able to fire. Its gimbal will be off until it returns to its resupply zone.
Yeah, the infantry and the hero right now only working by themselves against this triple lineup from CU Robotics.
We've seen glimmers of hope from Ascension as they got a kill onto that hero, but the hero a third kill for CU, maybe a fourth. My word, the hero for Colorado holding the team up, put the Sentry on his back and said, let's go, little buddy.
Really nice bounce back from CU Robotics after that last round loss against Tamu in the group stage. You can see here 5 kills the total to only 1 from SFU. Even with the Sentry on the field, it wasn't able to help them out enough.
Let's talk the good and the bad. The good, CU, their hero's accuracy, absolutely incredible. I mean, obviously the MVP of the game. 300% efficiency, setting a new record. The hits off the charts, the kills off the charts. I think they even got more than 2. I'm pretty sure they had a double kill early in the game. They were able to finish the game off with a kill. Absolutely the MVP. This hero, phenomenal job from CU.
Yeah, and for the bad, I think I can't really complain. Maybe the Sentry was a little bit slow.
Was it? I don't think it put a lot of rounds in the right places either.
It really wasn't involved at all throughout the.
In my opinion,
duration of
for
that match.
top 8, CU's still looking like a 2-bot team.
Yeah, I think they need to really hone in that Sentry and get it back to where it was last year when they were at the top, at the peak of their performance. But they are very close. And then for SFU, I think the good infantry still very mobile, still very accurate,
So fast.
able to secure that kill on the CU hero. Unfortunately, giving its life for it. I think the bad. The hero for SFU not landing a whole lot of shots, and then that Sentry just kind of a sitting duck at this point.
Yeah, I think the pushing the Sentry out move was smart. I do think they pushed it out too far and then kind of forgot about him. Once that Sentry goes down or gets low, perhaps you push it back. If pushing your Sentry is going to be your mobility option of choice for this tournament, I do think you need to consider how you're helping that Sentry get away. Otherwise, it's going to be a sitting supply of victory points for your opponent.
Yeah, for SFU, they really need to look at their strategy and think, is it worth it to field this Sentry while it can't move? And they need to make sure, looks like it is facing out, but you got to think, it's facing down right now. I don't know if you can turn it just by pushing it.
Oh, the gimbal seemed fully operational. The gimbal on the SFU Sentry did pan and lock onto a bot, so I think if they just get the chassis into a right place, I'm thinking behind the short wall, like kind of peek that corner, perhaps play a little bit defensive there, just in case the hero comes all the way on your side of the map, you get a few more projectiles on target.
Interesting. I would think I would put it near the top of that ramp right there, so that way it can maybe peek over
That's
into
very
the center.
exposed. It only shot 17 projectiles last round. I'm not sure it's ready to be on the elevated platform on a podium for all to see.
Maybe, but at this point, I think you just got to throw the book at CU and hope something sticks.
We'll see what they've cooked up. We're getting a lot of SCO buffs in the chat from Jet and Pregler and Onroy. Love to see everyone cheering in chat for those buffs. 16 seconds to go, still plugged into the Sentry. This is what we're watching. 10 seconds. There we go. Able to make it out. There's a lot to do left in those 7 seconds. He's got to unplug the remote. It's got to go in the Sentry zone. The Sentry setup is very critical.
Yeah, we'll have to see if that Sentry can once again get involved in this second round here between CU and SFU. Let's get it started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots.
CU, their Sentry not even spinning at the beginning of this round. Looks like it's going to be another 2-bot contest from them. SFU doubling down. They're bringing out that. They're bringing out their Sentry. Excuse me. The standard using the barricade to block the Sentry, the target of aggression, the hero, the former MVP from Colorado, taking a shot from SFU. Oh, it's a second shot from the SFU hero.
Really nice to see that
First
accuracy.
blood.
And now the Sentry for SFU laying in fire to that infantry that is in the center. SFU in control, but
Overpowered by the SFU standard will take away that speedy chassis and a kill.
But the hero securing the double kill.
Oh my gosh, SFU's hero with 3 kills, less than a minute into round 2. Overheat is going to cool off no problem. They're giving up that center point, but they need projectiles. They need to re-enable gimbals and firing mechanisms.
And we have seen this infantry can get out so quickly. You see it there, moving so quickly
Yeah, they're
out.
going to get a second turn. CU not able to capitalize on the tempo. No one in that center point. Perhaps SFU should, like you said, go all the way in. Should they be putting their Sentry in the middle? The hero back in play. These hero projectiles going to be the thing to watch. A little bit of
Another landing.
Across. Another landing for the side of Ascension, but their standard overpowering and their Sentry going down.
SFU now trying to cut off the escape for that hero, trying to chase that infantry as it gets back, but it gets healed up.
SFU smart to control the point. The standard moving to do some chip damage in the base.
Overpowering once again.
Oh, that's an awkward spot to overpower.
Really misplayed,
That-
overpushed from SFU.
Your standard is not going to be able to outdamage the heal, in my opinion, of the base. We've seen it from a hero or two, but the DPS just not there. Ascension's hero taking a shot. now going to have to retreat. CU takes their turn. Only 2 victory points separating the team.
Nice retreat from SFU, but their sentry still out there and vulnerable.
Yeah,
Hero.
not sure this was the move for the sentry, Steven, as it will provide another 20 victory points to Colorado.
Yeah, now SFU, their hero and their infantry rolling back out, fully healed up with ammo purchase.
Ascension so clever, using the powerless body of their sentry to duck behind to protect their armor panels. CU backing off of the point. SFU sentry regained motion, is moving.
And SFU's hero securing the kill on CU.
Word, SFU, their hero, overheated now, but wow, carrying this team, carrying this round. SFU Ascension doing some chip damage.
And the infantry for CU spinning out.
One more hero shot loaded up, and it will go wide.
That infantry for CU, it is malfunctioning. Look, it is not looking
This is
at
what
the robots.
we saw it. It's another kill for the hero. Team Ascension, their hero driver running up the score.
CU now down below 45 victory points. SFU at 66. They can win this if they just hold on here.
They can even take a death. That sentry can go down one more time and still be in the lead. Team Ascension has the tempo, has the lead. They are lacking a bit of projectiles, but the hero for SFU taking on CU.
The CU hero now with 10 projectiles in the hopper.
22 seconds. I think you just back off. You just need one more kill. But Team Ascension is going to try and stick it out. 17, 16. The hero finishes it off, and now it's tied up. It's another hero kill! The hero for Ascension gets a final kill, earning it the 17 points they needed. And Team Ascension, oh my gosh, that hero with the best performance of the entire competition got something like 6 kills. Wow, SFU, absolutely. Their hero slaughtering their opponents. Just, I mean, double kill into respawn, kill into kill into kill. The sentry giving up a lot of deaths for SFU, not providing a lot of value. Perhaps better to just take off the field at this point. But, I mean, they didn't even care. Maybe it was the distraction. Maybe because CU kept aiming at the sentry, that's the wrong hero. Ascension's hero, though, MVP of the round.
Yeah, my personal MVP for sure. Those double tap kills really helping SFU to secure this round 2 victory, pushing us to round 3.
Chat, clip it. Clip that hero's performance and show it to your drivers right now, next week, next year. That is what a hero at Arc Robotics can do. Absolutely incredible.
Really exciting stuff to see from SFU. The sentry getting out there, like you said, not really contributing a whole lot, but at least applying some type of pressure, giving the Colorado drivers another robot to think about. And critically, the sentry for Colorado offline that second round, and then that infantry looks like it spun out, had a little bit of an error there.
I think that's what we saw in the 1v1. I believe the kind of spinning and then stationary nature looked very, very similar to what we saw out of CU in the 1v1, not boding well for CU.
Eerily familiar.
They've had a nickname in years past, CU Throlder, a bit of play on words of their potential to throw. One of the teams that looks like a favorite every year, but has reliability issues that will cause them to throw matches that they definitely have the upper hand in.
And I think they did have the upper hand there, but now with that sentry not performing, with that infantry potentially having some reliability issues.
Oh man, best of 3s, Steven. Okay, let's calm down. It's 1-1. Match point. Everything on the line in the upper bracket. Team Ascension versus CU. Strategy-wise, if you still think CU's sentry is going to be offline as Ascension, I think you leave your sentry there. I don't think you take it. It is a good meat shield, and they did a good job of dodging behind it, but 6 kills going over to CU. I mean, that's 120 victory points.
It's a lot, but I think you need that extra firepower. Even if it lands 1-2 hits, that can be the difference between a robot escaping back to their base.
What do you think? Twitch chat, let me know. Should Ascension be running their sentry in round 3? I mean, Ascension won round 2, even with that misplay from their standard driver, right? They dove all the way into the base as a standard. That's not going to get you a kill. It ended up with a very easy death, right? You eliminate that, and it's not nearly as close.
Yeah. You can see them right there now positioning that sentry in front of the hero. It looks like they are going to try to run the same strategy once again, pushing that sentry out so it can provide a little bit of cover fire. This is a risk because now you've done it twice in a row. CU will adapt.
Yeah, they're not scared of it anymore. Round 1, it's really scary. You're like, oh, there's a sentry there. Better dodge, better duck. And then you realize it's only firing a few projectiles at you. You can kind of ignore it until it's dead. And once it's dead once, it can't shoot anymore. And then they know they can ignore it.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting round 3 here in this best of 3 matchup between CU
No
Robotics.
timeouts on either side, so they're sending it. CU feels like whatever was wrong with their standard, whatever's wrong with their sentry either isn't fixable or they're just going to run it back.
Yeah, here we go in round 3 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots.
All right, Team Ascension in the blue, CU in the red. A little bit more of delay from SFU than we've been seeing in the earlier rounds. Again, going behind the barricade, it's a standard versus a hero. Getting a little bit of chip damage down, not much though.
Wow.
Oh, it's the standard from CU that rushes the former MVP from Ascension and gets an early kill. Very, very aggressive standard fire.
And the sentry for CU. Ooh, a little bit of a collision there between robots from CU.
The hero falling extremely low from Colorado. Unfortunately for Ascension, not enough. It's going to get away. The sentry taken out. It's so far in the corner. Maybe Ascension will have the bandwidth to push it back. Only time will tell. Their hero needs to pull off another miracle performance. Several projectiles will have to land. The standard from CU pushing. Not going to overforce.
CU pushing deep into the enemy side, not letting them get out of their base, it looks like.
Might be able to win this one on point control, holding that center point. The sentry for CU online. This is what I've been saying. When they're a 3-bot team, they look fantastic. No, the Ascension can't even come out of their base.
Yeah.
200 projectiles downrange for CU from their sentry. It's looking great. Again, SFU out of their base for a few seconds and then have to retreat.
Yeah, and then SFU overheating all their infantry right there. Not able to put the 6 damage, but the hero, once again.
Oh, but this one goes the way of CU. A hero-on-hero engagement.
Unfortunate for SFU not
Standard,
able to
I believe,
secure that
overpower
kill.
and overheating from the side of Ascension. Gonna get those fixed. Is able to make it back with just a little bit of HP remaining.
Really, really impressive stuff here from CU. All 3 robots controlling the map, controlling the point. And another elimination for the hero on the side of CU.
The hero able to land a shot onto the standard in the base, but you have to land 2 in quick succession for it to really do anything. The hero for Ascension forcing that guy back, but my word, the kill not finished off.
Oh, so close for SFU. They really needed to secure that kill in order to change the trajectory
They're
of this
pinching
match.
the standard. Look at this the sentry for CU locked onto the sentry for Ascension. It's allowing the standard from SFU to do a lot of chip damage, but the boys are back. CU brings it back. Both heroes land
exchanging shots.
but again, it goes the way of CU.
And the infantry overheated as well, unable to finish off the kill. Can they get it before it gets back?
Yes. Ascension with the kill. It's too little, too
Wow, really, really critical 3rd round there for CU Robotics. Getting that sentry and that infantry back online, showcasing that with 3 robots, they are a contender once again.
Absolutely. A great 3-bot team. I mean, but we saw them get all the way down to a 1-bot team in this match, Steven. I'm excited for them. I hope they can keep the reliability up. But I'm not, well, my bracket prediction doesn't have them winning it all. I'll say that. Too many years in a row, I've seen them get to the grand finals and struggle. And you will not be able to have a 1-bot round against our other contenders this year.
Yeah, the hero for CU, the MVP for this round, I think this time very well deserved.
Absolutely.
232% efficiency. I would say that's a pretty good.
Yeah, it wasn't the 300 we saw earlier, but 232 seems accurate to me.
Very, very fair. Well earned from CU Robotics. The nice 2-1 victory. Our first round 3 in these best of 3 setups. I hope we get some more.
We have one more chance this morning to see if we get all the way to round 3. It's the Thornbots versus RoboGrinder. They are up next. They'll be taking the field as the Buffs and SFU retreat. SFU Sentry, it was there. It fired a few projectiles. I still really think they should have taken it off for round 3. It would have helped them last a little bit longer. It would have given them some victory points back. I don't think it does enough damage. I think keeping it for round 1 was smart. The other team doesn't know. There's a lot of mental game in the strategy here. We have a lot of stats and HUDs-up screens while we're watching the game. You can see barrel heat, you can see overpower, you can see number of projectiles remaining. The drivers don't have that on their opponents.
Yeah.
So you can put up a robot that looks really scary and get some tempo, get some space on your base without it actually doing much.
it's really hard for SFU because you're stuck between a bit of a rock and a hard place. I think if you field the Sentry, it gives you a little bit of extra firepower. It throws that wild card into the match. The enemy doesn't really know what it's going to do, but you're right. It does become a bit of a sitting duck, especially in those later rounds once the enemy analyzes and figures out, hey, this isn't that big of a threat.
Yeah, I really think for that third round, you've got to take that Sentry off. Round one, I think it's smart. It's a mental game. It also fired several projectiles. They wanted to see how their CV works, how their code works. Once they knew that it wasn't operating the way that they wanted it to, it wasn't putting enough projectiles out. The lack of motion isn't a full deal breaker to me. Pushing your Sentry out and having it be basically a standing turret isn't the worst. It's not even bad. Sometimes it's great if you've got the firepower to back it up. But they only got, I think, 20 rounds off in that first round, and I think after that performance, they should have pulled it. They were able to win round two. Absolutely incredible performance from their hero. And then round three, I think they should have relied again on that individual driver performance and hoped that they were in another 2v2.
Yeah, and then for CU Robotics, really impressive stuff. Really happy to see all three robots functioning. If they can get that reliability really honed in, they stand a good chance to make it far in the bracket. I think that they are a threat to take it all here in ARC Season 1.
You know, CU, for me, is like Voltorb. They do a lot of damage, but you got to flip a coin every time, and sometimes they self-destruct, and sometimes they just one-shot the enemy. That is, for me, CU in a nutshell. They have the highest skill ceiling, I think, and robot performance ceiling, and they also, it's a 50-50. Like, I don't think the odds are any better for that than them. Every round, they flip a coin, and if it's tails, they just unplug one of their robots.
Yeah, really critical, I think, for CU to get their reliability honed in, because otherwise, it's going to be, like you said, 50-50 chance.
Yeah, but when they're on, I mean, literally, I think the best.
One
the
of the
best
top
CV,
performers.
the best Sentry performance, perhaps other than like VT last year. But in the current competition, really incredible. We did see their Sentry retreat. We saw it put out 200 projectiles, really, really well targeted. But again, they flipped the coin. One of their rounds was one bot, one of their rounds was two bots, one of their rounds was three bots.
It's really a game of chance with CU, so you got to be very careful. If you are in the venue and would like to come watch us, check it out. We've got the 1v1 going on at the same time. You can watch both of those, as well as check out our merch table. Preston's holding it up right now. You can see our cool ARC Season 1 shirt. It's got all the cool team names on it, as well as our sponsors. Shout out to our sponsors, Manifold Technologies and Mugen. Thank you for your support. We could not do this
For a
without
limited
you.
time only, we are putting the shirt on sale. It'll be $17 in honor of the stolen MVP. So because Ascension's MVP slot was stolen, shirts are on sale for a limited time. Go buy yours, $17. If you're stocking up for your team, now is your chance to take advantage of the sale. Go get them, $17 a pop. We have a bunch of sizes in stock still at the front of the venue. Go check those out.
Preston, really cool stuff to see here coming up in this next matchup between the Thornbots and RoboGrinder. RoboGrinder are reigning champions from last year. We haven't seen them field a Sentry either.
Yeah.
So this would be interesting to see. Do they field that third robot? I'm looking right now, I can't tell anymore if they've got all three on the waiting area, but that will be a critical addition, I think. If it's SFU, if it's a similar situation to SFU, where it can launch a few projectiles but it can't move, if you're a RoboGrinder, do you field it?
I mean, if it has the accuracy and volume of SFU, no. But if it's got like the last year's VT Sentry projectile accuracy and volume and just has no mobility, yeah, I field it. Absolutely. We've talked a lot about the Thornbot strategy. So far, it's looked very defensive. Their hero's staying in one spot, not moving. Really a challenge of, hey, we're going to sit here and we don't think you're going to come on our side of the map. And so far, it's been true. We haven't seen what happens when that hero is challenged in their own maze.
It's definitely something that I think teams have failed to
to you about how awesome these robots look. And probably shirts, because y'all are in person. So if you're in person, you can hear me right now. Go get the shirts.
Yeah, thanks chat for letting us know. Continue to call us out if there's any issues with the stream. We will try to get those fixed for you. Preston, who do you think is going to take round 1 in this best of 3 matchup?
Oh, golly. Robo Grinder versus the Thornbots. I'm going to give round 1 to the Thornbots, I think.
Interesting.
Oh, gosh, dude. I don't know. It's going to be so much easier to call this after round 1. Let me make that prediction chat now so that Twitch chat can also vote. But if VT has found the anti-Tall Hero strat, if they know how to break the barrier hiding armor panel invincibility hero projectiles, whether that's ignoring it or just rotating through or attacking their short wall, I don't know. But if VT's already thought about it and figured it out, great. I think they take round 1. But if they try the traditional, hey, we're going to put one robot in the middle and swap it out, I don't think that'll work.
I got to go with VT on this one. I think that their infantry and their hero reminiscent of last year's aggression and accuracy. I think now with a Sentry on the field potentially, they stand a chance to run it back and be the champions back-to-back.
Wow. Champions. Hey, sounds like we're back. Thank you so much, Twitch chat. All right. Taking a look at those Robo Grinder bots, the very tall Sentry. That's LiDAR up posted, helping it get the field map built, allowing it to set waypoints to traverse the map fully autonomously.
And we've seen really cool stuff from this triple camera setup on VT, allowing their Sentry to have full view all around, even behind it at all times.
Reduces your need for spinning the head continuously, increasing how fast you will target an opponent, and decreasing those blind spots. We saw in our last match, Ascension come at the CU Sentry from both sides at once, and that type of play less likely to work against Virginia Tech.
And I love these robot designs from Virginia Tech. I think some of the most scary looking robots in the field.
Oh boy, chat. I left your prediction open too long, so capitalize on that. Try and win yourself some channel points because we're going to round 1 in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. No timeouts. All 6 spots on the field. Let's see how it plays out.
Let's see who takes round 1 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots. The Sentry for Virginia Tech out early.
It's going to meet up with the Sentry from RHIT. This is going to tell us a lot about the round. Both of them going to the center point. It's RHIT Sentry falling extremely low. It's got all 3 bots firing at it, raining down. RHIT, a miscommunication. Their hero trying to go to its normal spot, but it's body blocked by its own standard. But their Sentry able to retreat, gets away unscathed.
Really nice retreat from the Sentry for RHIT, but now Virginia Tech, ooh, very careful there.
A lot of use. The hero lands a shot from Virginia Tech, falling to about half HP. The Sentry for RHIT returning back to the center. These Sentries have buffed stats to account for the fact they don't have a human driving them, falling back to half HP. The Sentry trying to navigate again, body blocked by his own team. RHIT, their Sentry's code, so good, but a little bit of coordination lacking from them this game.
The hero now for RHIT in its spot, trying to land some shots across the map. Does land one onto the Sentry, but it only counts as a small 17mm projectile.
Hero shots landing from and on that blue hero, but it is the blue hero that will lose the trade and go down. The standard trying to back it up and finish the kill, and is successful, taking out the standard from RHIT. Virginia Tech still in the lead.
And their Sentry, very intelligent, backing up away from the pressure and then pushing.
Standard from Virginia Tech, rushing the hero, pushing it back out of its safe position. Able to do a little bit of chip damage and back off. The Sentry's going mano-a-mano in the middle of the field.
This is still a very close match
Oh,
now.
man.
All 3 robots from Virginia Tech back out onto the center.
The hero lands onto the standard, sends it running back to the base. That's the biggest downside for RHIT is their red tall hero's positioning blocks
Landing
the
a
maze.
long-range shot on the Sentry, though, for Virginia Tech, forcing it to retreat.
Choosing a different position, allowing that maze lane to stay open. The standard and the Sentry holding the middle point for RHIT. They are chipping away victory points, getting through the health of VT's hero. VT's hero is able to finish the kill.
And now it is just the Sentry for RHIT, facing 3 robots, now 2, as the hero for Virginia Tech goes back to heal up.
The Sentry is firing projectiles, a lot of them from RHIT, but landing with a pretty low accuracy rate. Very much anyone's game. Only 1 kill worth of victory points separating the two teams as a tall hero lands a shot onto that Virginia Tech hero. VT's hero trying to duck and dodge. Another projectile bounces off of its panels.
The hero for Virginia Tech getting very, very low.
And the standard finishes the kill. This is what we want to see, but the standard from Virginia Tech rushes that RHIT hero, sends it back to the base, but it does survive. Notably now, RHIT only 10 points behind. Both bots having to retreat. Virginia Tech maintaining control of the center better, but RHIT getting more kills. They're able to finish these kills. The hero does that early damage, then the standard and sentry come in to finish it up.
And you can see here that hero for RHIT continuing to land shots. Not really doing enough damage at this point, though. It is still a factor.
Looks like the sentry for RHIT is perhaps a little bit confused. This would be devastating for RHIT. There it is.
And here it comes. Oh, almost misses the wall right there.
Virginia Tech holding the center point. 60 seconds left to go if they're able to hold the point. Standard for RHIT, peeking the corner. A change of strategy because he's having to go out alone. They've got that VT hero low. If they can finish off this kill, it'll do a lot. They can! It's the tall hero that finishes.
Really nice accuracy there.
No one's on the center point. RHIT, the standard, has an opportunity to take it. It does so, but takes a shot. Takes a volley from the standard sentry combo. Has to retreat immediately. 50 victory points left. Back down to a 1-kill game.
The hero for Virginia Tech now holding the point. Very, very intelligent sentry work right there.
The sentry held it for a second, but Virginia Tech all have to retreat. The hero for RHIT lands across the field. Clip it, chat. Can they finish? They do. The kill is finished. RHIT still trailing, but only by 6. They just need to hold.
And now the tall hero. Now the tall hero coming out from behind the wall.
It's very wise. They will need its health. It's retreating. It's pulling a lot of fire. It's buying a lot of time. The standard for RHIT fighting with the hero. If it takes a single shot, it'll die. It's chewing away through the VT hero. The VT hero is retreating. 43 to 32. RHIT take the lead, but it goes back to VT. And VT's holding the point. Their hero, the only one left alive from RHIT.
Landing a shot, but only counting as a 17mm. Just over 30 seconds left in the match. RHIT needs to make a move
12
here.
12 seconds left in victory points. It's going to go down, and it will be a kill. It'll give Virginia Tech the win in round 1. Surely, there it is. Virginia Tech in a nail-biter take round 1.
Such a close matchup there between the Thornbots and our reigning champions, VT, Robo, Grinder. Preston, what did we just watch?
Oh my goodness, Steven. Holy Toledo. Robo Grinder, 4,800 damage, probably one of the highest damage scores so far of the tournament. And that's because these incredible sentries on both sides retreated numerous times. Both teams' sentry code so good, so fast at localization, path planning, decision making, fully autonomous, did an excellent job of taking damage, getting low, making it back. RHIT almost won. The hero for VT standing tall. Not as tall as the RHIT one. Oh, excuse me. This hero for Virginia Tech standing tall, 313%, new record. The damage off the charts, literally.
72 hits. I don't think I've seen a robot purchase that many projectiles before.
You know what? It's doing great. The MVP, absolutely correct. The driver and the engineer did a great job. Robo Grinder takes round 1. But I gotta say, Steven, RHIT looked nervous in the first minute. Their hero was body blocking their standard, their sentry and their hero ran into each other. Their sentry and their standard ran into each other as well. I think if they clean up just the navigation of the map things on the human side, get out of their sentry's way, they figured it out in the second half. They left that maze lane open. The hero started taking pot shots from behind the ramp, allowing their standard to retreat. They just haven't faced an opponent this intense during groups.
Yeah, and I think for that hero on RHIT, we saw it landing a couple of critical shots later in the match. The accuracy just needs to be honed in a little bit more so that way the infantry can go in and secure those kills.
Some big shots coming in from both heroes. Absolutely incredible. Well played by both sides. 6 bots, fully functional on the field. This is what we want to see. Whichever of these teams loses, going to be really scary in the lower bracket. And the team that wins, going to still be really scary in the upper bracket. These are 2 of my favorite to make it into the top 4.
I think both of these teams can definitely go very, very far, especially Virginia Tech now with their sentry up and operational.
I love that we saw the adaptation from RHIT. I've been talking about my fears, my concerns. I haven't seen them switch up their strategy with their human-driven robots, but it's just because they didn't need it in groups. As soon as the hero needed to be on the point, they were on the point. As soon as they needed to retreat, they retreated. They did a good job of adapting. I think if they can just get those little kinks worked out in the initial rollout, in that first or second retreat, I think RHIT takes round 2.
I think they have a very good chance here, especially if they can continue to apply the pressure, land those long-range shots, and then move onto the point. We saw it early, I think, throughout the match. Virginia Tech controlling the point, keeping that slow and steady tick away from RHIT. That, I think, was one of the defining factors. Obviously, the hero performance just outstanding in that first round.
Congratulations to the engineers and drivers on both sides of the field. Their teams have put in a lot of work and effort, and these drivers are doing a great job of showcasing the real, like, beautiful machines and software that these teams have produced.
See both teams off the field. We are loading into round 2 of this best of 3 matchup. Robo Grande taking the first round, RHIT going to try to even it up.
It was really a one-kill game almost the entire time. Both of these teams playing with such smart strategies, playing the point, playing the objective, retreating, making sure they didn't overpush and die. Really, really well done by their drivers, allowing them to capitalize on the mechanical prowess and excellence that their teams have put into these robots over the year.
See, we are in a technical timeout. Hopefully it won't be too long. Let's see them checking in on the driver stations. And we are back into it in 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots.
All right, RHIT with that smooth rollout, not body blocking their standard, notably this time with the hero. It's going to give them that 3v2. The hero backing it up.
Oh, the sentry for Virginia Tech just deleting half the health bar of RHIT.
The sentry for RHIT does a great job of retreating, has a lot of HP for early game stats. The standard using the barricade, fully defended. RHIT survives the first engagement. They weren't able to get any victory points or really do a substantial amount of damage, but their ability to use cover both for their standard and their hero, allowing them to reset quickly and push, but the standard for RHIT now falling below half health is going to stick it out. This is getting really risky. Any more projectiles land on that standard and it will go down to the last 5 HP. He makes it with a sliver. Wow!
And a power over usage from the Virginia Tech hero. It is vulnerable right now. If that RHIT hero can land a long-range shot, and it misses.
A few standard projectiles chipped onto there. The sentry tries to take the center point for RHIT, but is immediately sent packing. The standard from Virginia Tech doing a wonderful job. They know what the sentry's going to do now. They know where it's going to go. They're ready. The hero for RHIT needs to clear the center box. The first projectile goes wide. The second lands as a 20. The standard dies for RHIT in the middle of the crown. It's first blood for Virginia Tech. It's going to be really tough to come back from this. All 3 bots for VT in the center. They need at least a double kill to retake the point.
And now pushing that sentry back, forcing it to retreat to go heal up. The hero for RHIT trying to land those shots from over that wall, unable to really do a significant amount of damage just yet.
Virginia Tech doing good, standing strong, holding the center point. The hero for RHIT, I think, yet to hit a shot that counts as a hero projectile. This is my fear for RHIT in these later brackets. And now Virginia Tech pushing the maze. Forces the hero back. The hero had plenty of time and speed to get back to the base. But again, the shots making it more difficult. They're shooting almost full court every time.
Yeah, for RHIT not landing enough critical damage to force these Virginia Tech robots off of that center point. You can see them holding it. RHIT now below 100 victory points. Something coming off of the Virginia Tech hero. Hopefully that wasn't critical.
It's going to go down.
The hero
RHIT pushing, but loses the 1v1 against the standard.
The hero really needs to get more involved here. It's got 7 projectiles in the barrel.
It's going to be tough for this RHIT standard to make it back. They do have an invulnerability period. You can see that shield icon above its head. Good driving from that standard. The sentry for RHIT not involved in this fight. And 2v3 against Virginia Tech, not really doable. This hero for RHIT tries to crawl back to the base, but is taken out right on the corner.
And that should really make it very difficult for RHIT to come back here. Now Virginia Tech with complete control of the center. Below 20 victory points left for RHIT. Over 2 minutes left.
Oh, the hero
laying the shot.
One more will take out that hero, but RHIT has a good flow. They bring in their standard to finish the kill. They are successful, but that VT standard is there to take the final kill and the final victory points. Virginia Tech in 2-0.
Really impressive stuff there from Virginia Tech. forcing the pressure onto that RHIT hero. I think we saw it going into that maze, forcing that hero to retreat, fall back. The hero for RHIT not able to land enough considerable damage. You can see it only 1,700 compared to the 4,100 damage done by Virginia Tech.
Yeah, I think Virginia Tech had a lot more confidence in that second round. After winning round 1, they're not on the edge of being demoted to the lower bracket, so they pushed much more aggressively, and we saw RHIT's strategy struggle a little bit with that aggressive nature. Again, the hero from Virginia Tech, the MVP of the round and the match. Congratulations to Virginia Tech. They will be staying in our upper bracket. Thornbots moving into the lower bracket. They'll be facing Team Ascension next, and I think they have the upper hand. Their sentry working pretty consistently. I'm not sure what happened at the end of round 2 from RHIT, but it looked really, really good for much of the match. We've got a couple refs on the field. Head ref Peter, shout out. Peter runs this whole shindig. Does an excellent job, puts in a ton of time and effort, as I'll do all of our volunteers. You can see him there with the white staff vest, talking about, looks like measuring the distance of the barricade from the wall. I mean, our GoPro isn't perfectly centered here, but I mean, I understand that probably that wall has moved a bit. These robots weighing up to near 100 pounds, slamming into these walls. They're secured down as best we can, but they do move and shift. The volunteers trying to reposition them throughout the match. I assume that if there's any kind of replay or decision based on this appeal, we'll be notified as soon as we know. But thanks for getting us that inside look. All the robots on the field while they deliberate.
Yeah, and I think for Virginia Tech, you got to be really happy about your sentry performance.
Quick, Steven, catch!
What is this?
Guys, we have cubes. We have resource cubes. Oh, this one's green screened out, but that one's white. We have resource cubes also for sale. We have really cool merch this year with the ARC logo on there. They're plush and squishy and really fun, so pick those up.
These things are selling out so quickly, by the way. Go ahead and get these if you have not already.
They're only like $8 or something. They're so cheap. Go pick one up. Go pick 2 up.
They're so fun.
Just take them home. I can't imagine how many art competitors are going to be beamed in the side of the head in their labs over the next year. Like, I don't know what everyone else is planning on doing with them, but I'm pretty sure that this is going to be, I don't know if you've seen The Office, but, you know, the summoning sack, he has like a bean bag that he just throws at Jim to summon him. This is going to be the summoning cube. You just take it and just yeet, and that's how you call your team member's attention.
I love these so much.
Not endorsed. Don't do that. Don't throw these at people, but they're plush and soft. They're really fun. Sorry, I interrupted because these awesome cubes came flying in, but Virginia Tech in a 2-0 against RHIT, filling out an appeal now. Both teams look really, really good, though. 6 functional bots is what we want to see on every round of the knockouts. RHIT struggling against the super hyper-aggressive nature of Virginia Tech in round 2. Once the standard started pushing the maze, that hero didn't really have anywhere left to go. We saw chasing down kills of the hero into the base. That's the aggressive play that I think is going to be the counter strategy against RHIT for the duration of the knockouts.
Yeah, and we've talked about it, that a tall hero, very great at standing very defensively from behind that barrier, but when it comes to taking that point, getting that pressure on, it's not really the best.
I do think RHIT has the best map awareness in the competition. They use the map elements the best. They're using that wall, they use the actual barricade that they're measuring the distance to. They care a lot about that barricade because they use it. They're one of the only teams that is hidden behind it and actually taken shots from there and not just use it as a hallway. They have great map awareness in that they understand when to retreat and they can retreat quickly through multiple different avenues. UBC maybe uses the high road the most, but other than that you know, your opponent's section of that high road, RHIT doing a great job with map versatility.
Really shows the different strategies implemented by different teams. You said it, UBC using that high road very effectively, RHIT using that middle ground, and then Virginia Tech, we've seen it in their last year's performance, flowing out so quickly from that low winding route. Just really incredible stuff to see. I hope we see more variety as we move forward with the bracket.
Round 1 of that match was won by only 31 victory points. Reminder that a kill gives you 20. Extremely, extremely close. Round 2, 136 victory points remaining for Virginia Tech. Not as close. Notably, RHIT's sentry only operational for the first half of that game. In round 1, we saw it retreat probably in excess of 10 times. Doing an excellent job not only of putting rounds down range, but surviving in years past. So this is going to be a little bit of a monologue, but hear me out, chat. In years past, allowing your enemy to deal a lot of damage to you was really bad because they'd level up, they'd get experience, and there were 10 levels, and we talked about a level 10 standard back in the day could basically wipe the field, could 1v9, could solo the base, could do anything. The game has been balanced a little better now and tuned a little bit. Giving over some XP to your opponent is not such a big deal. That's Sentry taking damage but not dying, not as severe. Dying has a 20 victory point tick. You only have 200 victory points to begin with, so it's 10% of your victory points total every time you die. We've seen teams like SFU struggle when their Sentry keeps respawning and is in a vulnerable position. So I really applaud the RHIT autonomous team for getting that Sentry to retreat so quickly so that it can engage. And then VT obviously doing a great job as well. They were ready for it every single time, sending it backpacking.
100%. And I think if you're RHIT, you're not worried necessarily. You've still got another chance, right? You're just going into the losers bracket, and we've seen teams make runs before. So you can adjust your code, try to maybe look at the strategy a little bit, see what can we do better, how can we get that hero more involved earlier on, and then for the Sentry, just making sure it's a little bit more reliable, really.
Yeah. All the bots still on the field, all the humans still not on the field. Can we go back to that wide cam screen? I think there are some humans, notably all referees on the field now. So this appeal is still being considered. Probably. I don't have anything official in front of me. I think I'm signed in. I'm signed into all of the legitest things I can for Lightning. But we will keep our eyes out and let y'all know, keep you appraised of the situation. You can check on the standings, the schedule, all of that on Lightning, lightning.org/robotics, art-robotics.org. Keep up to date. You can see all the robots in their final positions, which really tell the story of the match. 3 Virginia Tech robots holding perfectly on the border of that center point. You can see the Sentry inside where the RFID module will register, and then the Standard and the Hero doing a good job of orbiting that center point, helping keep control of it without having to stay so stationary that they take a lot of damage. On the flip side, we see the Standard for RHIT where it died at the end of the game, looking back towards the maze, probably mid-retreat if I remember correctly. And then, oh yeah, dude, I totally forgot about that component that flew off of, I believe, the Hero for the blue team. There in the background, you can see it behind blue Standard 3. It doesn't look overly like electronic to me. There's no, I mean, obviously there's no armor panels and things missing. So I assume that it's some kind of covering or 3D printed component that just protects wires and batteries and stuff. Really important to have on your bot, but if it comes off during the match and you finish the match, not really a big deal. Probably not something you're going to have to repair with a lot of time and effort in between matches.
We've seen robot covers come off before. Usually it's just a quick snap on, snap off, or it's just loosely held on there. So I don't think it would be too critical. Obviously, it didn't affect the performance from any of the robots throughout that match.
Silencio, thanks for the follow. Guys, we're at 892 followers on Twitch. Would love to get to 1,000. It's a cool number. It has more digits than 892. So if you are watching, or you know someone that's watching, or you have teammates that aren't following us on Twitch, you go ahead and hit that follow button. I'd recommend hitting the notification button as well. That way you get notifications of when we're live, because sometimes things like this happen, where we're in the final match of the morning and there's an appeal. So we might be here for a little bit, and then after this match is finished, if it's finished, we will be ending the stream and going live again after lunch for those additional matches. Let's go ahead and take a peek, if we can, at the schedule, talk about what's happening after lunch. First up after lunch is going to be Team North Star versus QKRT.
Queens Knights Robotics. This will be a very interesting match. We saw Queens give... Who did they play, actually? Let's go to the bracket and see. So Queens played Air UW, and they gave them, I think, quite a scare. Much closer match than we were expecting initially. And then North Star obviously giving Pacific Spirit, I think, a bigger fight than they were expecting. So this one could be a very, very close matchup for sure. I
do think the favor has to lean to the side of North Star. They've had 3 bots extremely consistently throughout the competition. That Sentry has been there, has been active. They've perhaps lacked some of the individual like micro skill and driver skill of some of the other top tier teams. But they've had 3 bots the whole time, and I think that'll give them the edge over the Queen's Knights. After that game will be SFU Ascension versus the Thorn bots. Probably. I think that's based on if this does go the way of VT. So we're going to move on to the next one. At 2 p.m., it'll be UBC versus AR UW. Holy smokes, I've been waiting for that one for a while.
That's going to be such an exciting matchup. All 3 robots for both teams, very functional and operational as we've seen so far. I think this one could go either way. Maybe, just maybe,
Which way you got it in your bracket, Steven?
I have it Pacific Spirit.
I also have it Pacific Spirit. The appeal is successful. Chat, we might be running back round 2, I'm saying, with a question mark in my voice until I get a thumbs up from either Peter or Ben. But it will be the second round confirmed. The second round will be replayed between the Thornbots and Robo Grinder. Holy smokes. Successful appeal. Chat, make sure your team uses their appeals. You don't want to save them for next year. You do not get to store them up.
Really, really smart play here from the Thornbots. You can't take these appeals with you, right? Well, you can, but once you finish this bracket, they're gone. You're done. So, smart use of them, identifying that field was out of spec and appealing that to our head referees. Great job on the head referees, by the way.
They're moving everything now, but we've got it confirmed through Lightning. We're replaying the second round. Very, very exciting.
Yeah, really cool stuff to see from Thornbots. We're going to get a second round, and that's going to be really awesome because that was such an exciting matchup. We get to do it again.
All right, chat. Let's go back to that wide cam field view. Take a peek at the robots. They're going to be moving these, the barricade, making sure it is the correct position away from the wall. RHIT using that hallway.
Yeah, notably that hallway is only 700 millimeters wide. So the teams have to design their robots to a specific width in order to fit through that. That is probably what RHIT appealed to, saying that, hey, that was a little too close. Our robot couldn't fit. We were down because of that.
Yep. And so, I mean, you can see them kicking the walls. The field is set up by our awesome volunteers. They do a great job. But like I mentioned, these robots weigh a lot. A huge amount of mass and thus momentum moving around the field, slamming into these walls, slamming into the barricades, moving every component every round. So trying to keep everything in spec is a difficult process as we also try to keep running quickly and smoothly.
Yeah, shout out to all the referees there for making sure that field is back in order.
Unless the rules have changed, when you use your appeals, it does use your appeal even if your appeal fails. So good call by RHIT. I'm glad they had the confidence to use that appeal. It can sometimes be held by the captain all the way through the comp because they don't want to waste it. But staying in this upper bracket, this is a double elim bracket. So staying in the upper bracket would give them, another life essentially. It will allow them to lose a match later in the tournament and still be in contention.
And I think if you're RHIT, you are using this time to rethink your strategy. Hey, we tried it with our hero playing defensively. It didn't quite work. Do we change it up after this appeal now that is successful? Do we play a little bit more aggressive? Do we use our sentry a little bit more aggressively? I think these are the questions that you've got to ask yourself if you're on the team Thornbots. And then for Robo Grinder, I think you are trying to figure out how can we make sure that we secure this second round, once again, the second round replay, and make sure that we are going through in the winner's bracket.
Absolutely. Chat, what do you think? Do you think this is enough? Is this going to be the difference maker for the Thornbots? Round 1 was so close. I'll remind you, 31 points. Just basically one robot kill away from victory were the Thornbots. Round 2, not as close, but they had sentry issues, which, I mean, that's it. That's really all the difference that happened. But their sentry is such a good and vital member of their team that being 2v3 against Virginia Tech is an insurmountable challenge at this point.
And for Virginia Tech, I think they are trying to think, all right, what can we do differently? Is there anything that we should do differently, actually? Because what you did the first 2 times worked. It worked.
Run it back. If you're Virginia Tech, you're not in the threat of losing the match. It's round 2, rerun. So I think if you're Virginia Tech, you just keep throwing that same combo at them until they beat you. And then if they beat you for a round, then you have to figure something out. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You can see they're still trying to make sure that little barricade, that little island there, is in the right position for the teams. These robots are slamming into these walls at full speed. It is logical that they will shift a little bit throughout the competition. This is day 4.
Oh, yeah. Chat, we've been talking a lot about the different areas of the field. Let me describe them to you now while we're in this view. So the referee with the gold lettering on the back of his vest, currently behind what we're referring to as the barricade. The gray striped floor, as you would expect, is bumpy. It's a texture that you'll feel at crosswalks and things for visually impaired assistants, making it more difficult to navigate, also agitating the robot if it doesn't have good enough suspension. That is that bumpy road. And then we have the 2 walls that are offset from one another, the short wall and the tall wall. Being able to S-snake through that is what we're referring to as each team's maze, that middle maze of the map that leads them to the capture point in the center. And then you have the elevated road in that back. What I'm referring to is the elevated road at the top lane of the field. So we have this top lane elevated road, we have this middle maze, and then we have this bottom lane barricade.
I really like the design this year.
Yeah, really utilizing all 3. Absolutely, Steven. It's great field design. They're also sweeping the field during this opportunity, which I really appreciate. Not typical for round 2, but may as well reset while we have time.
Yeah, you can now see they're checking those little tags, those black and white tags that are on the side. That is what the sentries will use to help navigate around the field. So, really interesting to see also how that may have been affecting RHIT's sentry navigation, because those tags could have come loose or been out of position even by just a few millimeters, and that could have really allowed the RHIT sentry to navigate successfully around those walls and not get hung up.
I mean, surely the April tag would have to be off by several inches before it actually starts to matter. Like, you shouldn't have your bot shaving so close to the edge of a wall that being off by less than half an inch matter at all. But if the April tag was, you know, folded down or no longer level to the ground or rotated, then, you know, I could totally see how the robot, the sentry, would be confused as to where on the field it is. Volunteers doing a great job clearing the field, laying down some additional gaff tape on this barricade. I can hear cheers from the 1v1 field. Chat, keep in mind that if you'd like to watch 1v1, you can go over to our YouTube, ARC Robotics Competition on YouTube, and watch 1v1s there. We're also streaming this on on the YouTube as well. We should be dual YouTube streaming because we are that cool. If you're in person, quick reminders, you can talk to our sponsors at their tables. Manifold Tech and Mujin, sponsors of the event that are here in person. Go chat with them. Talk about all the awesome things that you've learned engineering your bot, doing the software for your bot, being on this giant multidisciplinary team. Hopefully get yourself a job. You can purchase merch. Our t-shirts are on sale. They're on the Oopsies, sorry, our MVP screen was wrong sale, $17. Go pick those up right now. We're in a 1v1 match. Electric, as it always is, top 8. Trading back and forth, the red team versus the blue team. That red bot looks like the one from UW, I believe. It's got that characteristic swan neck. Overheating is the standard from the University of Washington. This blue bot going to get a turn with the volley, dealing a little bit of damage. Not quite sure who's leading, but based on the light bars of these spinning bots, I do believe this blue team is leading. Classic Mechnum drive on the left from the blue side. Another volley playing across the field. Both teams nervous about being very aggressive. And it's the blue team that takes down AR UW.
I believe that is Queens Knights.
Wow, Queens Knights. That's a great win. Congratulations to the Knights from Queens.
Really, really impressive stuff. And if I am correct in the 1v1, let's take a look at their bracket here.
Was that the Elim?
That was the
Okay,
elimination.
I don't know what round that was. Don't get overhyped. Don't get overhyped. This is a best of 3. It's a best of 3 between these two teams. But Queens Knights versus AR UW. AR UW was knocked into the lower bracket. We watched that round by Team Roboto.
And also, I'm looking at the bracket. It looks like CU Robotics, our reigning 1v1 champions, was knocked out as well by UrsaWorks from
my God.
Wash U.
Speed filling us in. Thank you so much for the info. That was round 1. So now UW, their backs to the wall in the 1v1. Electric. Wait, Steven, you're saying that if Queens Knights takes round 2, CU and UW will be out of 1v1.
Out of 1v1, and my 1v1 fantasy will be cooked.
Yeah, it would be tough to predict both of these teams going out in the first round of the playoff bracket. Like I said, our top 3 teams from last year struggling a little bit this year with their Century performance. And, you know, a lot of these young buck teams coming into 1v1s with really good-looking standards this year.
I was going to say, is it so much that our our veteran teams have gotten worse, or just that some of our younger teams, our newer teams, have gotten much better?
I think the new teams have gotten really, really good, and it's requiring strategy change-ups by our big teams. Our UWs, our CUs, our VTs, frankly, for a lot of years have been able to muscle their way through some strategy diff with robot performance. And I think as the robot performance gets closer and closer, these games come down to driver performance. They come down to strategy. They come down to timing and game understanding. So Queens is back for the first time in 2 years. That's right. Yeah. So Queens isn't like a brand new team, but a returning team, and obviously facing one of the most veteran teams in all of North America. Virginia Tech, their team has been around, I believe, for a year or two longer, but absolutely amazing to see these teams battling it out in 1v1. Round 2. Here we go. Oh my goodness.
We won't get to watch it because we are resetting here on the 3v3 field chat. If you want to go check that out, switch over to our YouTube 1v1. Once again, the appeal was successful from RHIT, so they will get to replay the second round. Virginia Tech still leading with 1 victory so far in the first round, but RHIT now with a second chance, a second life to stay in the upper bracket.
Here we go. On the red side, still the Thornbots. All eyes on their Sentry. Will this be the difference maker? Can they take round 2 replay and take us to a round 3?
This will be a very critical round for RHIT. If they lose this one, they will go down into our losers bracket, and they will have to face Team Ascension.
That's right. Yeah. And I think they would have the upper hand against Team Ascension. Thornbots, I believe, one of our top 5 teams at least.
Top 4 team from last year.
Yeah, no, I know top 4 from last year. I'm saying this year. I think
this year. Yes.
I would put them in our top 5 just based on the fact that they very reliably have all 3 bots. But it is that fact that gets them there. They are not a team that I believe will make a deep run with 2 robots. They need that Sentry. It is one of their shining stars of their team.
We've seen as well, if that hero can land those long-range shots from behind that barrier, they can provide excellent support for their team, allowing their infantry to go and secure those kills. It really relies on that accuracy, though.
They've had a really good 1-2 combo punch. Their tall hero dealing damage, and then the standard finishing it off. On the other side of the field, Robo Grinder, the reigning former champs last year, their Sentry was very, very impressive. All 6 bots on this field are ready and worthy of the position of top 8. It'll be interesting to see who stays in the upper bracket.
Yeah, I think these robots are some of the scariest on the field when they are working at their top potential, when they are in the top form. You can see that Sentry with that high camera setup there, very, very visible, allowing the robot to see all around it 360 degrees. It has never had a blind spot. It is not easy to flank this VT team.
Virginia Tech's robot initial position very interesting. I don't typically see all 3 of them in a straight line. I'm used to seeing that middle robot pushed backwards so that it can follow one of these bots a little bit easier. But perhaps they've been finding better luck with the RFID cards in the front. I don't know. Maybe it's just a personality choice of the driver. This is where he wants to launch from.
We've also seen most teams take 2 robots in one direction and then the third robot in the other direction. We haven't seen
Uh-oh.
one team use all
little
3.
miscommunication on the field between the driver and the pit crew. Ends up with the net tied up underneath that RHIT standard, but they're able to get it fixed and back trying to direct. I
See, they're
believe we're in
trying
a
to communicate
technical timeout. A technical timeout probably on the side of RHIT. I'm running a little bit on my rope here, so there we go. Looks like that standard's just fine. The Hero getting a lot of attention as well. Notably, that Sentry, you know, it's had such good performance throughout the competition that I, you know, turn it off, turn it back on again, put a new battery in there, and I agree with them that they probably are just assuming that it's ready to go.
For RHIT, this is their second chance to take a round off of Virginia Tech, the reigning champions.
This is a much larger issue if this Hero is having jamming problems.
Hopefully there isn't anything stuck in there, but good on RHIT for at least diagnosing the issue before the round started.
Yeah, you don't want to use your appeal to get a redo of the match and then not be able to fire projectiles. Speed filling us in that UW is knocked out of 1v1, you know, pending any appeals and any craziness shenanigans that we're having in 3v3.
Yeah, I can
It
see
is
that right
Queen's
now. Our
Knights
bracket just
in the
got
lower
updated.
bracket. Wow, congratulations to the Queen's Knights, and congratulations to our team in 1v1s, getting some of those big top-tier teams that have ruled the roost for so long in 1v1s out early. We're almost guaranteed. I think we're guaranteed to have a brand new champion in the 1v1 bracket.
Brand new champions, CU, our reigning 1v1 champions, knocked out by UrsaWorks, Wash U. So, really interesting stuff going on in the 1v1 competition. Chat, if you want to check that out, you can follow along with the YouTube live stream over there. Tell us how it goes. We are very anxious to see
In the
how that
meantime, the
happens.
Heroes all buttoned up, thumb screws replaced. Great choice for their hopper cover. And RHIT is ready to run it back in round 2.
And it looks like they were able to fix that Hero jamming issue. That is a good sign for RHIT.
Sentry looks happy as well. It's not, you know, if we see a standard doing that where the head is spinning with the body, that's problematic. But for a Sentry, they're not getting dizzy. They're a robot. No inner ears there.
Don't have to worry about it. It's supposed to spin around.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's see this replay of round 2 in 3, 2, 1. Bring on the bots.
Very quick rollout from both sides. Virginia Tech, all 3 bots on their way. The Hero from RHIT lagging a bit. The Sentry going to get to there first. The Sentry for our hit getting chased back immediately. Utilizing the repaired size tunnel behind the barricade is the standard from RHIT, chipping away at that blue VT standard. The Sentry went back in at half health. RHIT, their Sentry falls. It does have good retreat code. It should be fine making it back to the base. This should not be game ending for RHIT, but if that Hero is offline, RHIT is going to be a really tough position. The standard getting chased back through the maze, and it is Barrel Heat that saves the day.
Yeah, unfortunately, that Hero for RHIT not being able to move outside of its start zone.
The Sentry for RHIT fighting and doing well, but in a 1v3, there's too many targets. Chipping back and forth, deciding to fight the Sentry, the standard for RHIT overheating with that barrel, and again getting to half HP and moving into the base instead of, into the center rather than away.
And you know what? I haven't seen the Hero from Virginia Tech either. So both Heroes, okay, there it is. Now it's back. It's just taking a longer, more defensive posture at this point.
Both Heroes back on the field. RHIT down to 9 projectiles, indicating to me that it's probably fully functional. And it is. They land a full court shot onto the Hero of Virginia Tech. Can they pull it back?
Barely missing that second one right
The standard
there.
for Virginia Tech engaging, chewing through the health of the Hero, but backed up by the RHIT standard. They will force that bot away.
And then the Hero that was trying to flank Virginia Tech getting chunked out by the by the Sentry.
Their standard falling low. The Hero here to defend, taking shots. Lands a Hero projectile onto the Sentry, but now the standard for Virginia Tech moving into position.
Watch out, RHIT,
chewing
watch
through
out.
the first 40% of that health. The Barrel Heat, again, not yet sufficient for them to be able to one-shot, and now 2v1. But, RHIT's health still ticking down as a team. Virginia Tech maintaining control of the center point. The standard for RHIT overheating. This could be disastrous. It will be as they go down to the 3v2.
The Sentry for Virginia Tech securing that kill. The Sentry for RHIT no longer on the map. I can't see where it is.
Oh my
it must
goodness,
be in
I
its
can
base.
hear the absolute rapid fire Sentry projectiles coming out of Virginia Tech. They were onto an invulnerable robot, but now they're standard pushing the base. RHIT unable to make it past their maze, fully pushed backwards.
You can see here Virginia Tech holding that center with strong control. The hero for RHIT trying to land some pot shots, but now comes the infantry for Virginia Tech. Once again, forcing it out of that little comfortable spot.
This is where Virginia Tech wants to play, having all three bots in the center, fighting around the RHIT base. That middle point not in contention. RHIT sneaking around the barricade, getting some good chip damage down onto the hero. But again, like we said, this chip damage not as important as it used to be in former years. If you can't finish the kill, it's not as impactful. Red Standard 3 able to make it back to base with 20 HP remaining.
Really strong stuff here from Virginia Tech. You can see the sentry as well, blocking the hero for RHIT in the maze. It is trapped.
Sentry from RHIT having a tough performance in round 2, excuse me. And now the standard for Virginia Tech. Oh, is defended by that sentry. The aim working well, but the hero for RHIT will go down. And RHIT falls in the redo of round 2. Really strong performance from Virginia Tech, not letting RHIT get a foothold in that round at all. 194 victory points. They only gave up 6 there. Really strong performance. 3,500 damage, 3 kills, 14 hero projectiles launched. For RHIT, I think it was really nice to try to get that appeal in. They were successful. Try to get a second round. You know, it can't hurt, right? Absolutely. Yeah, they were right to redo round 2, but Virginia Tech ran it back. Their hero still performing great. RHIT did land a few of those hero shots. All 3 bots at times for RHIT looking functional. But versus Virginia Tech, where all 3 bots are strong the entire round, it just wasn't enough. RHIT will fall to the bottom side of the bracket to face off against SFU, and Virginia Tech will stay in the upper bracket. Yeah, really exciting stuff to see. Shout out to 7845QOP on Bilibili for sending us a gift and joining the fan club. Love to see the support. We've got streams here on Twitch, on YouTube, and on Bilibili. Thank you for all your supports. Shout out to our sponsors, Mugen and Manifold Technologies, for sponsoring this competition. We are going to take a quick break for lunch as the teams reset, and then we will be back for the lower bracket in this 3v3 competition. Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you hit that follow button. We'll see you then. Bye.
Legends. All of these games have some level of violence or war theme to them, but it's just a game. Part of RoboMaster that maybe brings in some fear is that it's no longer just a game, it's actually real, which is to say it's a physical concept that you can see, that you can touch. These robots exist.
I'd always been curious about robotics. After joining this team, it really opened my eyes to how much I enjoy it, like working with a team, working on 3D modeling. It's nice to be able to find that passion, and it makes me hopeful for the future.
It's a lot of pressure when, you know, I guess 5-6 members the entire year's work, and then they build this robot. Their entire year's work depends on me. Every time before going to match, I would feel nervous, feel anxious. What if I break the robot? What if, we lose the match? Once the competition starts, once the clock starts ticking, I get in my mode. I don't think about anything else but winning.
I know for a lot of the operators, we work ourselves so tirelessly because we want to put on a good competition. We want to put on a good competition for not just the teams here, but for ourselves. It's a point of pride almost. And so when we can put on a competition of this scale, just as volunteers in our spare time basically, not compensated, but out of love, then I think that goes to show just how dedicated we are to this competition and to its growth. see a lot of changes in the North American competition in terms of who runs the show. Some of the newer teams that have entered the competition, CU, VT, RHIT, these teams are innovating year after year. They're bringing something new to the field. And it's incredible to see just the ideas and the concepts that they come up with. I like it when teams bring the crazy ideas. I love seeing the new robot designs. It's always fun to see. And in my opinion, that's what makes the competition worth watching.
One of my biggest mistakes about robotics is not doing it sooner, because I had no plans on doing robotics in college at all. I just kind of got into it by chance, and then I realized that I liked it.
I spend like 90% of my time on robotics, and yeah, it's just amazing. I really feel this is the best learning experience.
I hope that it stays in my future, because same with Jason, I really enjoy it, and I feel like it's rewarding to spend a bunch of time on something and then you put your robot into a match and then it actually works. Especially yesterday's match against CU, that was like the most fun I've had in a long time in this club. So it was so fun.
It's gonna be exciting for robotics in the next 10 years.
So I would love to stay involved with RoboMaster. I think it's really cool. Competition makes me really excited. I think the people are really good. I didn't have any friends when I got to college because I graduated from a really small school, and then nobody came to UCSD except for me. And then I joined Triton Robotics, and I was like, oh, these are my friends now. So all my friends pretty much came from Triton Robotics, and I think even the ones that didn't, Triton Robotics helped me kind of form that social ability to kind of talk to people and make friends, and so allowed me to kind of be more open with other people in turn. So robotics is kind of huge for me.
You have COD championships, you have Fortnite championships, you have League of Legends. All of these games have some level of violence or war theme to them, but it's just a game. Part of RoboMaster that maybe brings in some fear is that it's no longer just a game, it's actually real. Which is to say, it's a physical concept that you can see, that you can touch. These robots exist.
I'd always been curious about robotics. After joining this team, it really opened my eyes to how much I enjoy it. Working with a team, working on 3D modeling. It's nice to be able to find that passion, and it makes me hopeful for the future.
It's a lot of pressure when, I guess 5-6 members the entire year's work, and then they build this robot. Their entire year's work depends on me. I really, every time before going to match, I would feel nervous, feel anxious. What if I break the robot? What if, we lose the match? Once the competition starts, once the clock starts ticking, and, I get in my mode. I don't think about anything else but winning.
I know for a lot of the operators, we work ourselves so tirelessly because we want to put on a good competition. We want to put on a good competition for not just the teams here, but for ourselves. It's a point of pride almost. And so when we can put on a competition of this scale, just as volunteers in our spare time basically, not compensated, but out of love, then I think that goes to show just how dedicated we are to this competition and to its growth. going to see a lot of changes in the North American competition in terms of who runs the show. Some of the newer teams that have entered the competition, CU, VT, RHIT, these teams are innovating year after year. They're bringing something new to the field. And it's incredible to see just the ideas and the concepts that they come up with. I like it when teams bring the crazy ideas. I love seeing the new robot designs. It's always fun to see. And in my opinion, that's what makes the competition worth watching.
One of my biggest mistakes about robotics is not doing it sooner, because I had no plans on doing robotics in college at all. I just kind of got into it by chance, and then I realized that I liked it.
I spend like 90% of my time on robotics, and yeah, it's just amazing. I really feel this is the best learning experience.
I hope that it stays in my future, because same with Jason, I really enjoy it, and I feel like it's rewarding to spend a bunch of time on something, and then you put your robot into a match, and then it actually works. Especially yesterday's match against CU, that was like the most fun I've
Very
had
satisfying.
in a long time in this club. So it was so fun.
It's gonna be exciting for robotics in the next 10 years.
But I would love to stay involved with RoboMaster. I think it's really cool. Competition makes me really excited. I think the people are really good. I didn't have any friends when I got to college because I graduated from a really small school, and then nobody came to UCSD except for me. And then I joined Triton Robotics, and I was like, oh, these are my friends now. So all my friends pretty much came from Triton Robotics, and I think even the ones that didn't, Triton Robotics helped me kind of form that social ability to kind of talk to people and make friends, and so it allowed me to kind of be more open with other people in turn. So robotics is kind of huge for me.
You have COD championships, you have Fortnite championships, you have League of Legends. All of these games have some level of violence or war theme to them, but it's just a game. Part of RoboMaster that maybe brings in some fear is that it's no longer just a game, it's actually real, which is to say it's a physical concept that you can see, that you can touch. These robots exist.
I'd always been curious about robotics. After joining this team, it really opened my eyes to how much I enjoy it, working with a team, working on 3D modeling. It's nice to be able to find that passion and